2 for the Brandon Wheat Kings. Jace Howryluk with his first goal since Game 5 of the opening round against the Edmonton Oil Kings, but he's still got 23 points in the playoffs with 7 assists over a 4-game assist streak, and Jordan Paperny has been rock solid in goal for the Wheat Kings. His 14th win, coming off 37 saves in Game 2 and a .940 save percentage in his last 4 games. And there's Ethan Bear's strike again in Game 2 for Seattle. 7 goals and 17 points, leads all WHL defensemen in the playoffs, but he and his mates needing a big win tonight on home ice in the championship. Two glorious chances got away from the Seattle Thunderbirds from stealing home ice advantage from the Wheat Kings. Overtime heartbreak in Brandon, ×2, has left the Thunderbirds in an early hole. Still looking to break through in the series, the Thunderbirds return home, ready for a boost from a raucous home crowd. The Wheat Kings, however, have other plans, looking to exorcise the demons of their last 2 Game 3s. From the Evergreen State, it's the Wheat Kings and Thunderbirds, next on Shaw. WHL on Shaw and Bobdale Gloves, WHL Central. Good evening. I'm Andy Neal, and hello to those of you again south of the border watching tonight on Root Sports. Well, home ice proved to be an advantage for the Brandon Wheat Kings with a pair of thrilling overtime victories in front of raucous crowds at Westman Place to open up this series. And now the Seattle Thunderbirds are looking for a boost from their home fans as they get set to host Game 3 of the WHL Championship here at a sold-out ShoWare Center. Brandon's able to get the upper hand in the series to start off with Games 1 and 2, with both come from behind victories to grab a 2-0 series lead. Down 2-1 in the third period on Friday night in Game 1. They rallied to tie it, and then Tanner Kaspick whacking it out of the air with the overtime winner. And then in Game 2, more of the same. It was 2-1 for Seattle in the third, but Brandon again tied it. And then Jace Howryluk was the hero to give them a 2-game lead in this championship. For Seattle, tonight's game marks the first time that they hosted a championship game since 1997. And remember, a 2-3-2 format in this final series. Also a chance for them to really gain momentum as they play in a building they've thrived in all year. Seattle led the WHL with home ice victories during the regular season with 29. And here at the ShoWare Center in the 2016 playoffs, they've won their last 4 and are 6-1 overall so far in the postseason. So a big Game 3 tonight. And for their thoughts, upstairs we go to the men calling it. Vito DeVardius alongside Bill Wilms. Gentlemen.
Andy, thank you so kindly as always. Bill, we went to the rink for game number 2 in Brandon Saturday night thinking, what could these teams possibly do for an encore after an overtime game? But guess what? Game 2 is the same. It happened again. Same score, and 60 minutes wasn't enough.
Well, let's get right to it. Nothing happening in the first period. Pick it up in period 2. 1-0 Seattle. Donovan Niles opens the scoring. Brandon ties it on a shorthanded goal by Nolan Patrick into the third. 2-1 for Seattle. Ethan Bear, power play goal, big blast. Here we go, tied up again. Tyler Coulter, that puck right off his shin pads into the back of the net and into overtime, Peter. This is a goal, exactly what happened. Kind of a heartbreak. 2-0 lead, series lead for Brandon.
Well, Landon Bowe's body language said a lot about the first 2 games of the series, but let's face it, with a couple of bounces of their own, they could be leading this series coming home 2-0.
Well, yeah, Brandon did get it. There's no doubt. They got the lucky bounces, and it started with Matt Barzal, Game 1 off the post. This is the overtime winner where we talked about Kaspick out of the air. Game 2, Enser left, crash in the net. Ethan Bear clears it off the shin pads, and Coulter, we've already showed you that one as well. Another goal post by Kolesar, and the overtime winner we just talked about. Peter, I got to be honest with you. Yeah, some luck there. But for Connor Walchuk's team here in Seattle, he's got to get more than 9 scoring chances in the whole game. 2 shots combined in overtime. You got to create a little bit more to get your own luck.
Jace Howryluk wasn't feeling all that lucky in the playoffs. He's been so productive, but he went 11 games without scoring a goal before he notched the overtime winner Saturday night. But look at his production. 23 points, leads all Western Hockey League playoff performers with 20 assists. This young man is always right in the teeth of it in every way, shape, or form.
47 goals on the season, included 5 hat-tricks, but look what he does to help his team when he's not scoring. Does all those things that he has to contribute. Battles so hard, Peter, in those real tough areas in the ice. And you know what? He knows his role. He gets it. And when you get a 100-point guy with a battle level of Jace Howryluk, you know that Flores really got them a gem in round 2 of the draft last year.
Generally, when we talk about Seattle, the names that come front and center, Barzal, Kolazar, Krop, Bear, Bow. Mm-hmm. But in so many ways, Bill, Scott Entzer, and let's not forget he played for the United States of the World Junior Hockey Championship. You can't be anything but a good player if you're elected to do that. But in some ways, haven't the first 2 games of this series been his coming out party?
Yeah, well, you know, it's easy, folks. Keep your eye on another number 8, Seattle Thunderbirds number 8. This is an energy guy, man. From Denver area, tenacious. He really prides himself on playing the other team's top line. That means when you do that, Peter, you can't take a night off. You can't take a shift off. And there's never an easy night. And what I think is impressive about Scott Entzer, he says the better the guy he's playing against is playing, the better he likes it, the more he wants to be involved in the battle. And we've seen that. 7 goals, 3 of them game winners. This Thunderbird team at home could use a game winner tonight. Can't wait for game number 3. It's right around the corner. We'll drop the puck very shortly on the Western Hockey League Unshot.
Hospital's Lottery in support of the Red Deer Hospital is bigger and better, with 465 prizes valued at over $1 million. Early bird prizes include a 2016 Harley-Davidson Road King, plus $50,000 cash. And new this year, 31 days of critical cash withdrawals for $500 made every day in June, ending with a draw for $5,000. Get your early bird tickets by May 15th. Call now or visit hospitalslottery.com.
Hi folks, it's me, Don Taylor, way up here with my friend Murph. At Levitt Machinery, they sell, lease, rent, and service all these machines, and they offer certified training. Need a lift? Stack it, reach it, lift it. Levitt.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome everyone inside the ShoWare Center in Kent, Washington, the site of Game 3 of the Western Hockey League's 50th Championship Series. And the visiting Brandon Wheat Kings in the driver's seat after a pair of overtime wins in Brandon Friday and Saturday, 2-0. But Bill, this Seattle team, if you combine the regular season and the playoffs, has won 35 times in this building.
Yeah, they've lost 5 in the regular season. That was the fewest in the entire league. The 29 wins, Peter, was the most. The 6-1 in the playoffs was fantastic. That's the second most wins in franchise history. You got to go all the way back to 89-90 when the Seattle Thunderbirds were 52-17. They dominated this ice sheet.
Well, you were in the radio booth for Seattle. The only other time they competed in the league final, that was back in 1997, and they're still looking for their first win in a championship series game. As we welcome John Ryan, and they're on their feet here, the terrific punter with the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl champion, and yes, hails from Regina, Saskatchewan. Remember when he was a high schooler at Sheldon Williams High School, went on to play with the University of Regina Rams, spent some time with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and his NFL career, be it in Green Bay or especially here in Seattle, has been dynamite as the 34-year-old with the ceremonial puck drop.
What an athlete, what a team has taken this city by storm. Even Alexander True, the player from Denmark, says he's got really caught up in Seattle Seahawks fever here in Seattle.
And from an introduction of John Ryan, one of our favorites, here's Stu Walters.
Yes, thanks very much, Pete. Steve Konowalchuk, head coach of the Seattle Thunderbirds, very confident entering tonight's Game 3 on home ice, despite being down 0-2 in the series, saying the games in Brandon were so evenly matched, save for a couple of bounces in overtime that went Brandon's way. In fact, he says he's got a positive outlook because he's got 3 or 4 difference makers that he needs more production from. They haven't had a huge impact in the series. He believes they'll start delivering tonight, and that's what will get them over the hump. Back to you.
Stu, thank you so much as always. Tonight's starting goaltenders. And there is no change, and frankly, why would there be? Jordan Paperny, who stopped 68 of 72, will tend the twine for the Wheat Kings. He's from Edmonton. At the other end, from very nearby Edmonton, St. Albert, Landon Bow, and he's just been terrific, not only in this series, but ever since he was acquired from Swift Current at the Western Hockey League trade deadline. And Game 3 is underway as Nolan Volkin races in with good speed. Starts with Scott Enser and Donovan Niles. Hoff is shot, and that's blocked in front. And Mitch Wheaton fell that as he fell in front of it. Back comes Reed Duke. Duke one-on-one with Jared Smith, and the captain with an excellent defensive play. Enser. He'll clear it in, and Steve Konowalchuk's team looks to make changes. 40 seconds in. Tyler Coulter banks it off the boards, just out into the neutral zone as Bear sends it ahead for big Andreas Schumacher. He's from Sweden. Provorov bumps him off the puck. Back to the line it goes, and Ethan Bear. His shot tipped in front. And again, the Wheat Kings with another key block with traffic in front of Paperny as Coulter chips and changes in the Thunderbird zone. Howerluck trying to lean on big 6'2" Keegan Kolazar. Howerluck with a great early chance from the slot, and he's robbed by Bow.
Levitt Machinery's WHL on Shaw is brought to you by Levitt Machinery, online at levittmachinery.com.
This is Harlock again at his best. You watch number 8. Look at the forecheck. Watch where Harlock's going to end up. He doesn't give up on the puck. Here's where he goes. Amazingly, he was a guy deep doing all the work and ends up being the guy with a shot on the net. You know, you've got to stop him. You've got to not let him dominate. He's got to be taken to the wall time and time again.
Phil, Jace Howerluck in his last 40 games, regular season playoffs combined, 82 points, including a goal and an assist in the Game 2 triumph on Saturday.
When you're a top guy like that, Peter, the points you're saying gets the vote for the team as the hardest working player. That's pretty impressive stuff.
Second round pick of the Florida Panthers. This is rookie defenseman James Shearer. Shearer on the outlet. Tapped to the line by Tanner Kaspick, the overtime hero in Game 1. Scramble in the neutral zone. Poked ahead towards Alexander True, and he scoops it in. As again, changes are being made. I wonder if Steve Konowalchuk works really hard to try and get Provorov and Urkamps away from the Barzal line. We'll keep an eye on that as the game continues. Ty Lewis digs a tree, goes right through the slot area, and Josh Urich takes over. He's bumped the near boards. McCorrister helping out on Connor Gutenberg. The puck squirts free to Jared Hoff, all 6'5" of him. As he plays it up the boards to Nick Koloko. As Barzal being double shifted early. He plays a ton. Number 13, to say the least, the first-round pick of the New York Islanders. Here's McCoy Urkamps. John Quenneville, a first-round pick of the New Jersey Devils on the forecheck with Reed Duke. Duke tied up effectively by Turner Ottenbright. Magali can't handle it cleanly, and this is Henser to Volkin, who has 2 postseason goals. Wheaton with Clegg on defense. And Quenneville comes away with a loose puck and finds Magali, and now look out! Is Ottenbright, another big hit in the series, delivers it against Reed Duke. Back comes Volkin, and Paperny steers that confidently into the corner. Niles, who has 2 goals already to lead the Thunderbirds in this set. Smith moves in from the right point, and that hits Quenneville on the way to the net. Smith, nice hustle to keep it into the right point. Brings it behind the net. Here's Schumacher off the bench. His wrist shot, and that's turned aside as some pressure put forth by the home team.
Now Turner Ottenbright, watch the hit far left of your screen, folks. This is big-time hit. Boom. He gets a good piece. Actually, it's Ottenbright and ends up at his own bench. But Turner Ottenbright, Peter, remember the 2 hits he put on John Quenneville and Brandon? There's a tail of the tape. Look at the difference in goals for and goals against for both teams. And part of that, those 77 goals for the Vikings and 46 for the Seattle Thunderbirds, Brandon's got 5 20-plus point guys. Seattle's got exactly 1.
Polazar back out with Barzal and Schumacher, who's up on that top line on left wing. Ryan Gropp has spent considerable time there early in the series. But a bit of a switch for Steve Konowalchuk, the Western Hockey League's Player of the Year, Bill, back in the year 1992 with the Portland Winterhawks. And the interesting thing was he finished 10th that year in peak scoring. That'll tell you what type of a player Steve Konowalchuk was, and then went on to a terrific NHL career. Powerluck again. Into the zone, high-rising wrister that goes well over top of the net. And going to the net was Tyler Coulter, and the reason for the stoppage in play. 4:31 into game number 3.
You talked about him in Portland. You know, he's the 4th Portland Winterhawk to coach a team in the WHL Finals. Brent Peterson did it with the Portland Winterhawks. Mike Williamson with Calgary. Derek Laxdal with Edmonton. You know, his team tonight can't get ahead of themselves, Peter. They can't force things. They've got to stick to the game plan. They've got to be grittier. They've got to be more difficult to play against. And they have to play with a lot of discipline as well. I like the start that the Seattle Thunderbirds have had here tonight.
Young Jared Tishka, are we going to have our first fight in the series? We are. Duncan Campbell going at it against Kevin Leff. And Leff throwing some lefts. And the linesman will break that up.
Listen to this crowd.
Standing room only tonight in game number 3 at the ShoWare Center. As Leff, who started his year in Swift Current, involved with Campbell.
Starts right off the faceoff, a neutralized faceoff of all places. Although I guess if you're going to get involved, why not get it away from one of the team's ends? And there they go. Looks like Campbell got a little bit of the edge early, but I like the way Leff came back. Once he got going, once he got an arm free, started delivering the lefts. You know, Peter, the last time Seattle Thunderbirds played in this building, it was that double overtime game where they fired 78 shots against the Kelowna Rockets net. So this crowd is coming away from that kind of a game, the last time they played in this building, to tonight when they're back and they're treated to an early game fight.
see that Kelly McCrimmon's team 5-2 on the road. Game 3 of series this spring have been a bit of a bugaboo, if you will, for this group. And they're hoping to change that. As a matter of fact, they changed their routine today. Normally they would skate in the morning, but it hasn't worked out that well in the first few series, so they changed the routine. They didn't come to the rink today. Once again, here's Stu Walters.
Yeah, guys, thanks very much, Peter. Just had a gander over at the Wheat Kings bench. Kelly McCrimmon standing up there looking at his guys. Some of the guys looked back at him, and then he looked over at me, gave the nod of approval. I didn't mind that they went toe-to-toe there early in the first period. No matter what, it looks for momentum here. Glad his guy stood in there.
Duncan Campbell with a large assist on the Caspic overtime winner. And Bill, I've been so impressed with Leff in this series, despite the fact he has yet to record a point.
No, he's been very, very involved. He is where the action is. No question about that. You know, the Swift Current to Seattle trade been a big difference maker here.
Including Landon Bowe, who came over from Swift Current.
Peter, those two games you talked about, the two series, the Red Deer series and the Moose Jaw series. First of all, it was Moose Jaw where, you know, they got the Warriors scored 4 goals in period number 2 to break that game open. Went on to win that one 7-1, and then Red Deer, remember that it was 4-0 after the first period, and Red Deer went on to win that game 6-2. So game 3, a bit of a bugaboo.
And yet it was game 3 in round 1 when they lost both games at home to start the playoffs against the Oil Kings that turned that set around. Magali stripped Smith. One-time try. Quenneville, he scores! John Quenneville's first of the series, and the Wheat Kings strike first.
You know, it's a great forecheck. Puck starts way back at the blue line, and it's Magali that's going to dump it in and go in after it. And, you know, this is what Brandon does so well. They get pucks deep. That's important. And then they turn you around. Once that puck goes to the back wall, in comes the forecheck. Watch the top of your screen. Who gets himself open? Perfect. Right there. You know, you can see the stick, back in the shooting position. Quenneville says, just give it to me. I'll get it on the net. There's a rebound, or the point shot, and there's a rebound in front. Everything about that goal was executed well. In on the forecheck, stretch the ice from deep to back, low to high, get the shot on the net, get a rebound, and be in position to put it in the net.
John Quenneville has 14 goals. He leads all playoff performers in finding the back of the net.
Peter, and I think that's the 5th goal that's been the first goal of the game. That leads the Western Hockey League. Again, he gets, a pretty good chance to get a second whack at it. Tested playoff performer, John Quenneville.
And he's creeping up on Bill Derlago for 3rd place all time in Wheat Kings history as far as playoff points are concerned.
He's 3 behind right now.
57 in total for John Quenneville.
Peter, 4th all-time scoring for Brandon in the playoffs. Look at the companies with Brian Propp with 77, Ray Allison 75. You mentioned Derlago 60. Jace Harlick at 54, not too far behind. He's 5th. That's a pretty good group. When you're talking guys like Propp and Allison, Derlago, you got some talent.
For me, some of the greats in the league all time. So that is wonderful company indeed. Propp and Allison, members of the first ever Wheat Kings Western Hockey League championship team back in 78-79. The Wheat Kings looking for their 3rd ever title. The Thunderbirds, their first. Ethan Bear had an excellent series and playoff with 7 goals to lead all defensemen. Starts the breakout. Jordan Thompson on the wing for Tanner Kaspic, and he's content to shovel it to the neutral zone as John Quenneville has opened the scoring with his 14th of the playoffs and his first of this series. He had scored in 5 straight, all 5 games against Red Deer prior to the championship series. As Reed Duke off the glass in deep, and Bowe comes behind the net to play it. Smith reverses it neatly towards Hoff. Magali wants to track it down, and Hoff unable to one-handed out of his own territory. See how the Thunderbirds respond. For the first time in the series, they don't score first. Drop carries in. Drop! Wrister, but it goes off of Provorov in front of the net. Niles puts on the brakes in the corner, finds Groff top of the circle. The Rangers draft pick. Ryan Groff almost lost his balance, and that went right through the crease and was dangerous. Is Groff looking for his second of this championship affair. Provorov back to control. The first round pick of the Philadelphia Flyers, 7th overall in the most recent NHL draft. Saucers it ahead to Hauerluck, racing in with good speed. Hauerluck cuts to the net, stopped by Bode. What a burst by the product of Roblin, Manitoba.
How quickly this team comes up the ice. They're right behind their own net. Provorov's going to have the puck. He's going to start to play, stretch it up the ice. Jace Hawryluk, that's all he needs. Cuts hard around defense to the front of the net. Boy, that's Lammendola really concentrating, make sure that that big body's got everything low covered. I think the only way Hawryluk was going to have any success if he'd put that puck anywhere up high, but along the ice, Bo's a big goaltender, going to make that save.
And a really important save, Bill. Even though we're less than 8 minutes in, Provorov, no shooting lane. Dishes off, just missed the captain Urkamps, and back with speed comes Enser. On the wing for Volkin, tries to return it. Urkamps broke it up, but Enser stays with it, plays it into the corner. And the Wheat Kings once again make their way to center as Patrick shoots it in, and a big hit on Tyler Coulter as the Wheat Kings will be guilty of icing.
This series, Jordan Paperny is 2-0. He's 68 saves, Peter, on 72 shots, 9-4-4, a number 2 star and a number 3 star. The reason I point that out, last year's WHL Championship Series against Kelowna, he was an 8.79 save percentage. They lost 4 straight. I know it's a different team, a different year, but he had to improve this year, and he certainly has.
He has certainly been a difference maker in this set. Barzal back out with Kolazar and Schumacher. Ottenbright paired with Ethan Bear on defense against Kaspic and his line mates. Right now, Stelio Mateos, and the goal getter in the contest, Quenneville. And Quenneville with an opportunity, but using his skates to block it is Ottenbright. Mateos, the youngster from Winnipeg. Barzal, 1 point in the series. Barzal squeezes around Wheat. Ottenbright! And it may have got to Paperny. And his left pad is a good opportunity to draw even for the Thunderbirds. Schumacher swept in by Kolesar. Barzal steals it, nearly got away, but Clegg with a good stick on the dangerous Matthew Barzal. Quenneville bumps with Ottenbright. McCorrister in the corner. McCorrister tied in a knot by Ethan Bear. And Josh Urich with a fine outlet to Matthew Wedman. Wedman has a man in front. Urich a shot, and it looked like it hit Holoko. Thunderbirds have had some chances. The speedy Gutenberg racing in. And a penalty upcoming for holding, and it's going to go to the home side.
Good opportunity earlier for Seattle. They got pucks on the net, but boy, you love the 5 guys that were back for the Brandon Wheat Kings. And again, when they come out of their zone, they're certainly coming up the ice with speed. Normally you want to come up the ice, Peter, a little bit more as a group, but maybe the guys with the puck, in that case Gutenberg earlier, Hawryluk, are too fast. They aren't, the guys coming up behind them can't get there quick enough. Again, really good speed to the outside for this Brandon team.
The Wheat Kings, a collective 1 for 10 in the series. On the power play, they were 0 for 5 in the win at Brandon on Saturday. And the Thunderbirds have killed penalties exceptionally well in this set, but they've done that all year. They led the league in the regular season in that category. Provorov drops it back. Coulter on the entry into the skates of Hawryluk, and Enser on top of him to force Provorov back deep in his own zone. Nolan Patrick rink wide to McCoy-Erkins. Hoff reverses it to the captain, Jared Smith, a rolling puck, and he makes no mistake finding an opening and sends it the length of the ice. Provorov with a key assist Saturday in the short-handed goal by Patrick. Patrick backhands it, hits Ottenbright with it, and another chance to clear. And again, this time it's Kolazar who sends it down the ice. The Thunderbirds with an excellent job in the first minute of this penalty kill. Duke chips and chases. Niles first to it on the end boards. McGauley is there. He backhands it. Nobody at the blue line. And that allows Alexander True from Copenhagen, Denmark, to send it out to neutral ice. Bear fakes one way. Outlets to Smith, who takes his time. And again, sends the Wheat Kings back deep in their own territory. Cale Clegg to Tim McGauley, who has an assist tonight. Clegg in behind Mateos. Smith in a hot pursuit of the puck, gets there again, and that'll do it for the Wheat Kings power play. They did not record a shot, Bill.
You know, sometimes that can zap your team of some momentum, some energy. But you got a feeling that this Brandon team only knows how to play one way, and that's with speed. Come into that zone with numbers.
By Lewis's shot off the stick, and Bo takes no chances as he covers up John Quenneville. There's been big hits, some good saves. Quenneville has the lone goal as the Wheat Kings in front, 1-0 here in the first on Shaw.
Welcome to Select Fluid Power, home of our brand new state-of-the-art cylinder repair and hard chrome plating facility. With a fully equipped hydraulic cylinder repair shop, Select Fluid Power is your one-stop cylinder repair shop. Open 7 days a week, serving Western Canada.
Distance gained. No walls to separate us and our home. Drawn deeper by the presence of no one and the essence of everything. Mother Nature's timeless masterpieces, stretching past the sky and the edge of the world, calling us to explore supernatural British Columbia.
The Mercedes-Benz AMG GT. Available at Lone Star Mercedes-Benz. Current offers at lonestarinsider.ca.
With Thunderbirds head coach Steve Konowalchuk. Steve, your thoughts on your team start? Is there a little bit of nervous energy there?
Well, I think a little bit. I think at times we're going fine there. I think, the goal there, we'd like to get quicker to protect the front of the net there. Good penalty kill, good kill for us, and then we'll go from here.
How important for your best players to be just that tonight?
Well, it's time to really step up, and we need everybody. We don't put all the pressure on them, but, we have some guys that are difference makers here.
All right, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Guys.
Peter, he was a coach's dream in the NHL. A forward who they said was a defensive genius. 2 men short, he was the first guy on the ice. And, any team in the NHL would have had a spot for him. But listen to this. He had a rare heart condition that ended his career. Such a tenacious guy. He had 4 doctors' opinions before he said, you know what, I'm done.
I asked him yesterday if he ever thought during his playing career, because he was such a reliable, trustworthy player, if he thought about coaching, and he said prior to the heart condition he never did. Was never a thought for him until that happened, and he wasn't ready to leave the game.
Came here 2 years after 2 years in an assistant with Colorado.
He's originally from West Valley, Utah, yet played his midget hockey in Prince Albert. There's a penalty on the way.
Right off the face-off?
And it's going to go to the Wheat Kings as referee Kreitz makes the call.
Peter, I haven't even seen it, but I'm guessing it's interference. When you win the face-off and you get it clean back to the point, probably 9 out of 10 times, it's an interference call. Let's have a look. Far right side of your screen. Quenneville, yeah, there it is. He tried a high jump over top of Quenneville.
So the game's goal getter for Kelly McCrimmon's crew in the penalty box, and the Thunderbirds, who have 2 power play goals in the series, go to work. Smith that drive, and it hit Kolzar in front, and it took a bite out of him as Howrlich gets away short-handed, and he rifled it just wide of the far post. Barzal with great speed. Barzal tripped up. There'll be another Brandon penalty as Kolzar tries to give Brandon the puck, and they'll blow it down, and the Thunderbirds will enjoy a 2-man advantage, first of its kind in this series, for 1:33.
Boy, this came right after a face-off inside the Wheat King zone, and Howrlich went one way, but going back was Barzal. And by the way, Barzal, Gropp, and Kolzar, that line in 2 games, -10. Now, you got a 2-man advantage, Peter. How about this? The Seattle Thunderbirds have played 7 games on home ice. They've scored 1 power play goal in 32 tries, 32 attempts on the power play. That's got to change right now.
Barzal showing off just what a dynamic talent he is on that rush. Provorov in the box, a 2-man advantage. Bear, who scored a power play goal in the 3rd period in Game 2. Barzal, no lane, backs off. Bear and Paperny with an excellent shoulder save. Barzal moving in. Kolzar, sharp angle. They score! Alexander True has tied it.
An absolute must. Seattle had to on that 2-man advantage. They had to score a power play that hadn't gone anywhere on home ice. And it came after a terrific save earlier by goaltender Paperny. But when they get that puck into the corner and then get it to the front, that's obviously a recipe for success. Start it at the point, get it into the corner, get it to the front of the net, and it's obviously a 5-on-3 situation, one of the toughest to defend. You saw Quenneville, typical kind of goal to give Brandon the 1-0 lead. He was alone in front. This time it's True. This time it's tied at 1.
Alexander True's 3rd goal of the playoffs has tied it at 1 apiece, and still 1:30 left in the second. Seattle power play. Barzal twists and turns, enters the zone on right wing. Barzal down low for Kolzar, swings it to Jared Smith. Kolzar looks at Gropp now. Barzal, 1 touch. Hit Paspic, it goes wide in the net. Bear again. To Barzal. Kolzar, he scores! Keegan Kolzar. 2 for 2 are the Thunderbirds on the power play, and they lead it 2-1.
There you go. That's the way a power play is supposed to work. This is how you dominate home ice. This is how you get 29 wins at home, 6 in the playoffs. You got to play with a lot of discipline. Here's Bear. He's going to quarterback so much of it back there. Look at Kolzar, 28, just makes himself available. That's in a soft spot, but way too soft. Barzal, he's going to control it. He's going to watch it. He's going to see it. That's 2 assists for Barzal on the first 2 power play goals. Nice job. Really had to capitalize there, Peter. They have the crowds in it, the team's in it. They got a real good start here for Seattle.
As you see, his 7th, first of the series for the Winnipeg product. And Columbus, 3rd rounder. And it's 2-1 for the Thunderbirds, who desperately need a victory, trailing this championship series 2 games to nothing. Coulter in between the defense, and it go off the heel of his stick. Flying to the 17-year-old Patrick. Hard not to be impressed by Nolan Patrick. Howrlich drives toward the net, and he's stopped at the side by Bowe. Enser wants to clear the zone and will, because he finds Niles. Provorov to Urkamps, who assisted on the Quenneville goal that gave Brandon an early lead. as it's offside at the line.
Here's your Brandon Wheat Kings in game 3. This is in Moose Jaw. They give up 4 goals in period number 2. Go on to lose that game 7-1, and then 6-2 against Red Deer. They lose it again, 4 in the first period. Looks a little different to me right now, be honest with you. His power play goals have been the difference.
Ethan Bear with an assist as well on the goal by Kolazar. He has points now in 7 straight postseason games. Reed Duke with Quenneville and Magali. Off with Bow. Duke and his stick tied up effectively by Bear. And then Duke gives Bear a shot. And Bear has some words with the referee on his way to the bench. The Thunderbirds power play, the difference so far. And this will be icing. Bill, these teams met in the regular season once, October 27th right here. Seattle won 7-2 that night. Kolazar with a hat trick. Barzell, who's got 2 assists tonight, had 5 in that game.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how much they built off that or thought about that. Again, we were talking about this before we went on air. A guy like Ivan Provorov's only played 1 game in this building in the 2 years he's been in the league.
Clegg spins away from Ryan Drop, and then the puck's sent towards Quenneville. Barzell in the backtrack. You can tell he's feeling it. Barzell, who had 1 total point in the first 2 games. And just offside. Barzell, 88 regular season points in 58 regular season games for the World Junior member of Team Canada. And now with 2 more assists tonight, he is up to 22 in the postseason.
Yeah, he met with 25 teams at the National Hockey League Combine last year, and he joins former T-Birds Thomas Hickey with the Islanders. But you're absolutely right. What a pleasure. It's hard to find a way to play Barzell defensively that he doesn't expose you.
Puck deflects off Mateos and into the Brandon bench, where the Wheat Kings are all standing while the Thunderbirds all primarily sitting right now at theirs.
When you look at the playoff scoring, this is the difference. Brandon in the Edmonton series was led by Reed Duke with 5 goals. Moose Jaw was Magali with 6. Red Deer was Quenneville with 6. Barzell, all 3 series. Prince George, Everett, Kelowna. He was their top point getter. Barzell's been coming into tonight's game, Peter. 44% of the Seattle goals have Matthew Barzell's fingerprints on it.
Well, we knew that top group had to be productive if this series was going to start to turn. And they really delivered on those 2 power plays. Mateos, former first overall Bantam pick. Off the skate of Enser, and a heavy shoulder hit courtesy of McCoy Urkamps. Urkamps to Kaspic. Kaspic eligible for the upcoming NHL draft. Cross-corner shootout in front, and Mateos failed to pull the trigger after a fine pass from Campbell. It's Wheaton now, using the end boards, looking to send it in front of the net. It nearly did. Smith in the corner against the youngster Mateos, who had 13 points in his 9 regular season games to close out the season in March. Schumacher to the line and out as Hauerluck with a healthy run on Urich. And now Patrick gets free in front of Hauerluck. Oh, that's a sensational stop by Bo. Maybe as good a save as we've seen in the entire series. Hauerluck again with a chance. Patrick shovels it over top of the net and wide. Quality opportunities for the visitors, but they can't draw even. Coulter, he'll swing it behind the net as the Wheat Kings are changing. Ethan Bear with a rolling puck to Donovan Niles. Shoots it in behind the net where Provorov awaits. Provorov banned on a clearing attempt, and Magali can't move it past Volkin. Olin Volkin, the Edmonton product. Magali signed in September to an entry-level deal by the Washington Capitals. Volkin tied up on the boards by Magali. Duke Quenneville is there now. Give and go. Back to Quenneville. Urkamp swings it in a hurry. Provorov blocked in front. And Bear, calm and cool to Volkin. Seattle with numbers. But the first pass took away any chance of what was materializing as a 3-on-2 and then a bit of a malfunction at the junction. Away from the puck involving Provorov and Quenneville. Left steals, left in front, and True just tipped it wide. True tied the game with his first of the series on the power play earlier in the frame. Oh, here's a stunner. We've got another good one.
Counter punch, which is really good. Both teams are answering back those momentum changes. There's not one team has been hemmed in on their own zone for any length of time whatsoever.
Bill, a way different type of game in terms of, I find, a lot more quality chances.
Yeah, very much. This is the last one. Nice job by Patrick. How does he get away that easily, that quick? At 6'3", the size that he's got, makes a beautiful pass there to Harlock. What a save by Bo. You know, Landon Bo comes into tonight's game with a .934 save percentage. That's number 1 in the Western Hockey League for anybody that's played more than 5 games. Overtime, by the way, for Landon Bo, the last 3 games he's played in a Seattle uniform.
I asked Steve Konowalchuk yesterday how Bo would potentially bounce back from that tough goal that he let in by Howrluck on Saturday in Game 2, and he said wasn't worried in the least that Bo has exactly the right kind of demeanor to deal with a goal just like that. And he's responded tonight so far, and very well, I might add. Kaspic to Mateos, wanted to drive the net, now a wraparound on the near post against Bose, stands tall. Wheat Kings again, applying the heat, looking for a late one here in the first to go to the room even. Kolazar, who is the go-ahead goal, hits the line against Provorov. Provorov plays him perfectly and finds Howrluck. Towards Patrick. Howrluck off the board. Patrick in front, backhander. There's Bo again. This time off Patrick. Barzell in transition. Smith just onside Niles. And Smith had kind of backed away as Niles slid it across the crease towards him. Off. Into the corner, Urkamps. Wheaton, his backhander, gobbled up by Volkin. Returns it to Niles now, in front for Enser. Enser sent into the corner as the Wheat Kings trying to now get out of the period without any more damage. And finally the whistle goes with just under 12 remaining in the period.
Yeah, I agree. They want to get out of this period without a doubt, without giving up any, but they played the last minute and a half with these 2 good chances. Stelio Matthias, good work by Kaspic on the back wall, gets it to Matthias, a 16-year-old. Watch the wraparound that he attempts. Bo again reads the play well, and then again another opportunity in front. That's all in the last minute, but like you just said, Peter, important now with play inside the Brandon zone with 12 seconds left, that they don't give the Seattle team another scoring chance.
Magali against Enser on this face-off. Tie one another up. Shoveled in front, intercepted by Quenneville, and that will do it for period 1 of Game 3. Mr. Wilms, a pair of Seattle power play goals. The big reason for the 2-1 advantage after 20.
Exactly the way you would expect a Western Hockey League Championship Series to unfold, with Seattle playing their first game at home ice in a full building. 40 more, at least, great minutes to come.
Andy Neal. When I think Andy Neal, I think always quality minutes. My friend, take it away.
Thanks very much, Peter. Coming up in the first intermission, we will hear from Thunderbirds captain Jared Smith with Stu Walters inside the WHL, and in this series with Kevin Sawyer and a Super Bowl champion, Regina product John Ryan of the Seattle Seahawks. Brandon strikes first for the first time in the series, but Seattle with 2. They lead by 1 in Game 3 on Levitt Machinery WHL on Shaw.
Hi folks, it's me, Don Taylor, way up here with my friend Murph. At Levitt Machinery, they sell, lease, rent, and service all these machines, and they offer certified training. Need a lift? Stack it, reach it, lift it. Levitt.
I want you to stay in my life, in my life.
Every year, when you support Full House Lottery, you support the lives of 1.1 million patients and their loved ones. Your ticket brings world-class care to the Royal Alexandra and University of Alberta hospitals. And that makes every Albertan a winner. Thank you from Full House Lottery.
AMTA, the voice of Alberta Highway Transportation. The AMTA now has 2 simulators in daily use, our static trainer in Edmonton and our mobile training unit out of Calgary, which allows training at the transportation companies themselves. These are invaluable tools, honing driver skills for shifting, banking, or hazardous road and weather conditions, all in a controlled and safe environment. And that translates to better safety on our roads. Introductory pricing of $30 per hour. Alberta Motor Transportation Association.
Helijet flies between Vancouver and Victoria, as well as Vancouver and Nanaimo. Day or night, rain or shine, plus free parking and shuttle service at all terminals. Take off today by calling 1-800-665-4354 or click helijet.com.
Bob Dale Gloves WHL Central is brought to you by Bob Dale Gloves. Found online at bobdalegloves.com.
And welcome back to Seattle, where after 20 minutes of play, it is the Seattle Thunderbirds leading the Brandon Wheat Kings by a score of 2-1 in Game 3 of the WHL Championship. Here with Thunderbirds captain Jared Smith. And Jared, your thoughts on the first 20 minutes? Was there a little bit of nervous energy, at least to start, for your team?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we came out a little nervous, but I think we got over it as the period went by, and just keep working hard out there and getting pucks deep.
How important for you was it to capitalize on both power plays there?
It was huge. Sorry. I mean, definitely when they give us an opportunity, we got to capitalize there. And power play's been struggling a little bit the last few games, so it's good to get that going.
What is the confidence at in your team, especially with the games being so evenly matched in Brandon and just kind of the bounces that went Brandon's way there? How much confidence you guys actually have here, even though you're down 0-2?
I mean, we have a lot of confidence. We know we can do it. We just got to keep playing the right way and really working their D and getting pucks in deep and playing the right way.
How happy that you have 3 straight on home ice. What does that mean for your club?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, especially with the crowd here. It's very loud, and it really gets our energy going. So it's definitely huge to have 3 home games here.
Your first season as captain, how much do you relish that role of being the captain in the room?
You know, it's definitely a big honor, and it's a big responsibility in the room, but just got to really keep the guys positive and keep being a leader out there.
I know many people are amazed with your story. Many people might not know it at the beginning of the playoffs. You had your appendix out. You only missed 4 days. You were back for Game 2. You were a +2, and you guys managed to win the next 4 against Everett there. What was that process like, coming back from having your appendix out? Most people are out 3 to 5 weeks.
I mean, it was definitely, I just wanted to be back there with the guys. I'm sure any other guys who would have it, they would be back as soon as I was. I mean, it's tough being in the stands and watch your guys go to battle and you're not there.
What a warrior. Thanks for your time, Jared Smith.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Andy Neal, Jared playing his 37th playoff game tonight. Let's head up to you in WHL Central.
All right, thank you kindly, Stu. Big thanks to Jared as well for joining us back at Bob Dale Gloves WHL Central alongside Kevin Sawyer. Another fast action first period in this series between the two teams, and Seattle comes out of it with the lead. What do you think of the opening 20 tonight?
Well, the tempo was excellent, exactly what you'd expect. The atmosphere in here, it's a sold-out crowd, and I thought Seattle came out with a lot of tempo, and you really have to tip your hat to them because they gave up the first goal, and it really deflated the energy in the building. And then you look to Kevin Seth, he gets into that fight, and I thought that turned around a lot of momentum and added another spark that they needed from an early dip. And, wow, a huge 5-on-3 power play goal. Get a couple on the extra man, and So I think Seattle's feeling pretty good about that first 20 minutes.
You know, it was one of the biggest trades getting Landon Bowe from the Swift Current Broncos, but in an earlier deal they got Kevin Leff from the Broncos as well. What kind of impact can he have for the Thunderbirds in this series for depth?
Well, that's exactly what he brings, is depth. And when you look to the depth of your lineup, you're looking for different dimensions. And what he brings more than anything is speed. And you're going to see him here get in behind the defenseman here on Brandon, which isn't easy to do, and creates a scoring chance for himself. And this guy can skate. Look at him here on the forecheck. He agitates on the body, and that probably is one of the biggest things that he does. Not a ton of points, but creates turnovers. And again here, turning the corner with huge speed. He's got 3 goals and 6 points in the postseason so far. I get the feeling that this is a guy that is on the cusp of adding a lot more offense, that secondary scoring. I really like a lot of the things that he brings.
Matthew Barzal has really been skating well in the last 2 games and going head-to-head against Ivan Provorov. I mean, that's a grade A meeting between those two.
Well, the best defenseman in the league, it's going to be in the National League next year, and Ivan Provorov, not easy to play against, but Matthew Barzal not too shabby himself. Only 1 assist so far before tonight in the series, but look at him on Provorov, how he turns him inside out. Look at that patience. Makes a great pass to Gropp that leads to a great scoring chance. And then look at, without the puck, Barzal, hungry on the track again, takes it from Provorov, and I'm really impressed. Now let's get ready to slow things down. Let's stop it here. That's 1 versus 4. He's in jail. Not many guys can make anything out of here, but Matthew Houdini Barzal, let's play it here. Watch him. Cross-ice saucer pass to Bear. Goes off the crossbar, but 1 versus 4. He's getting all sorts of attention from Brandon. And then what does it look like when a guy empties the tank? Look at the second effort by Barzal. Sheds off a couple of checks. That leads to a goal in game 2. And he is done. Barely enough energy to celebrate, but you can go on and on about what Matthew Barzal brings. Puck possession, creativity, and you see there in some examples what he does without the puck. A complete player. And I really think that his experience with Team Canada and the World Juniors has raised his level in his game, form-fitted for the playoffs, and it's showing.
Head coach Steve Konowalchuk didn't name any names, but he did mention there are a few players that needed to step up for his team, and Keegan Golazar, you'd have to assume, would be one of them. He has a goal and an assist tonight. Ryan Gropp scored in game 1 as well. What about from those 2 players?
Well, a great sign for tonight, and Golazar has got the goal and an assist, but you're right. These guys are 30-plus goal scorers in the regular season. There's Golazar to Gropp and the goal here in the series, but you definitely have to want more. These are big, powerful guys. Look at Gropp, what he's capable of, splitting the D. What a great goal. And this is Golazar. That's a power forward on the body. Separate the puck from the man. This is what you'd expect from him. He takes the puck to the net and scores in powerful fashion here in game 2. That's Gropp. You can't give a good player a bad pass. It's not a great pass, but you need more from Gropp. That's a shorthanded goal from Patrick, and to me it's because Gropp doesn't have a puck that he should have. Now, you don't want to be too harsh on a guy, but I definitely think that they need more from those guys. They've got more to give, and I guess the good news is they lost 2 games in overtime without their best players all being their best players.
How about for the Brandon Wheat Kings and the pressure that they've had and the structure that they've had in their game to start this championship?
Well, Brandon can come at you in so many different ways. They create offense off the rush often, but they can really get in on the forecheck as well. And just look at the example down here. They get the puck low. They cycle the puck. That's a Patrick line putting the game on the wall. And here's their second line with Duke and Magali. Again, the cycle, and they always, or seem to always, turn into scoring chances, winning board battles. These guys are highly skilled guys. They'll beat you in open ice, but they prove there how they're hard to defend on the wall as well. And here again in the defensive zone, look at their team. Look at right there. There's 5 guys below the hash marks. That's 10 seconds left in the second period. Hard to generate anything for Seattle against that kind of structure defensively. Patiently, they get the puck up to the half wall and out. So you talked about the things that Brandon has: depth, lots of scoring, great defense. They can play on the wall, play on open ice. That's a lot of things to defend, not easy to do.
Well, it's an interesting start to tonight's game. Seattle's got the lead. It's 2-1 through period inside the WHL with Kevin Sawyer from Kent, Washington. Levitt Machinery, WHL on Shaw.
Whether you're sharing a moment, putting a plan in motion, or pushing through, you need your body feeling its best. Manitoba Chiropractors. giving you the power to move forward.
The Alberta Chambers of Commerce.
Sometimes somebody does have to speak up and advocate for a certain direction, whether it be economically or politically, and the Chamber is one of the organizations that does that.
It's a really good support network in terms of learning, development, and just sometimes camaraderie.
It's a diverse group in both age and gender, and also in business styles.
The Alberta Chambers of Commerce, where members matter and benefits count.
Levitt Machinery WHL Hockey is live on Shaw. Catch the NHL stars of tomorrow today. Shaw TV is home to the 2016 WHL playoffs. The journey will start with 16 teams and will have all the hits, the saves, and the goals until one team is crowned WHL champions. For complete playoff broadcast information, visit shawtv.ca or whl.ca.
Hi, I'm Don Taylor here at Levitt Machinery, inviting you to watch Levitt Machinery's WHL on Shaw.
Helijet flies between Vancouver and Victoria, as well as Vancouver and Nanaimo. Day or night, rain or shine, plus free parking and shuttle service at all terminals. Take off today by calling 1-800-665-4354 or click helijet.com.
The WHL. Raise your odds of playing in the NHL. Over 20% of all NHL players got their start in the WHL. The WHL. Raise your game. John Quenville opened the scoring for the Brandon Wheat Kings, his 14th, but Alexander True's third, and then Keegan Kolazar with his 7th, and the Seattle Thunderbirds with a 2-1 lead over the Brandon Wheat Kings here in Game 3 of the championship. Bobdale Gloves WHL Central pleased to be joined with John Ryan, kicker with the Seattle Seahawks of the NFL, and former tryout with 3 WHL teams, including the Brandon Wheat Kings. What do you remember of your days trying out for the Wheat Kings, the Tigers, and the Regina Pats?
I remember that all 3 tryouts didn't last very long. That's what I remember most. Is I was over my head, and everything worked out for a reason. And being released from Brandon when I was 17 ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me. Really.
You were a goaltender. So when was it? At what point did you decide that hockey was enough and you wanted to focus on football?
You know, I grew up loving football, loving hockey too, and I always didn't know which way to go. You know, and when I got cut from Brandon when I was 17, that was kind of what pushed me in the one direction or the other, and as it turned out, pushed me in the right direction in football, and it's worked out very well for me since.
Sure has. Super Bowl champion with the Seattle Seahawks a couple of years ago. You're a Regina product, playing for the Regina Rams. Frank McChrystal was there for years. What was he like as a head coach?
Frank was one of the most inspirational people in my entire life. You know, I looked up to him. You know, after my parents, he was the guy that really guided me in life more than anyone, I would say. You know, he means the world to me. And you know, he came out to a game last year and he got to watch me play in the NFL, and that was one of the more special moments for me.
It's loud in here, not quite like the 12s at CenturyLink Field during the NFL season, but what's it like to be in the rink tonight?
Oh, it's amazing. I've never been here before. I've been to Thunderbirds games when they played back in Key Arena, and so this is my first time here, and the atmosphere is electric. It's unbelievable. You know, it's very loud. It's very much like the 12th man. You know, and the fans here are amazing.
You're the longest tenured Seahawk right now since 2008, and what they've built here in Seattle with the Super Bowl championship and always being a contender as well. What's that been like? And a 4-year contract extension for you as well. What's it been like to be here in Seattle?
It's been amazing. You know, and I've been here from the Holmgren days and Jim Mora, and then luckily, you know, Pete and John Schneider kept me around for 6 years, now extended me for 4 more. So I've been so fortunate, so blessed to be able to be a part of this community and part of this football program, and you know, I just want to play here for as long as I can. You know, as I'm kind of the old man on the team right now, so you know, you never know how long it's going to last, but I'm going into year number 13 right now, and I love it more than I ever have. So I just want to keep on going.
Well, we appreciate the time and all the best coming in 2016.
Thanks for having me on.
There's John Ryan, kicker for the Seattle Seahawks, here through a period of play from Showware Center in Seattle. Keegan Kolazar celebrating his 7th. Thunderbirds by 1 here on Levitt Machinery, WHL on Show.
Bob Dale Gloves WHL Central is brought to you by Bob Dale Gloves. Found online at bobdalegloves.com.
The College of Medical Laboratory Technologists is the regulatory body that oversees the education, training, and conduct of medical laboratory technologists in the province. MLTs perform lab tests and interpret results to assist health providers with the diagnosis, management, and treatment of disease. If you have any concerns about the qualifications or conduct of a medical laboratory technologist, contact the CMLTM.
So, how's the new house coming along? Not bad. I mean, all this mortgage stuff is a little confusing. More confusing than that ridiculous shirt you've got on. Have you not talked to a broker? Nah, no. You need to do that, man. Think of them like this grocery store. The banks can only offer you brands from their aisle, but a mortgage broker can access brands from more than one aisle, ensuring you get the best value.
Finding the right mortgage for your needs can be complicated. You need an expert. Visit amba.ca.
Looking for big city amenities with small town charm? Consider the city of Wetaskiwin. Our community offers affordable housing, a regional hospital, and a world-class aquatic center. Make Wetaskiwin your city of opportunity.
Nestled near the Hills of Peace is a community where nature comes alive. A 17-acre lake within walking distance of the historic downtown is home to a diversity of wildlife. Looking for peace and tranquility? Make Wetaskiwin your city of opportunity for an afternoon or forever.
Welcome back to the ShoWare Center. We're after one period of game number 3, a critical one for the Seattle Thunderbirds. They lead the Brandon Wheat Kings by a count of 2-1. And Bill, their power play really got rolling, and a huge reason why they're in front.
Well, for sure. Brandon opens the scoring. There's some fan pucks here. Looks like it's fanned behind the net, a bit of a fumble there. Erkamps doesn't get it. Quenneville's first is a bit of a fan, but Quenneville makes it 1-0 at that point, opens the scoring. And then we talk about the power play. You know, they do tie it. They were 1 for 31. I couldn't believe it. This cross-ice pass, this is a 5-on-3. When it goes to the front of net on the second look here, you'll see Mitch Wheaton. He does leave Alexander True pretty much open, but you know what? You've got a lot of decisions to make. Look at this. Who to cover? Alexander True ties it at 1. Now you're going to see Matthew Barzal and what he does so very, very well on this particular situation. It's still a power play now. It's 5-on-4, but watch how he waits. Now you get 3 guys wide open. He's got 3 guys to pass the puck to. That gives Colasar a chance to back away, get into a good scoring spot, and make the shot. This is the best save of the period. Bull right there, a terrific glove save, or rather a blocker save. That was on Harlech. Matthias on the wraparound. Amazing. That net almost fell on top of him. He concentrated on the puck. And this is Nolan Patrick trying to get that puck in the front of the net area. Have nothing to do with it. Bo absolutely sensational with his team up 2-1.
2 power play goals under a minute apart, and Barzal and Colasar, 2 of the big guns, figure in on both. Quenneville, a playoff leading 14th goal, opened the scoring as Kelly McCrimmon's men set to open period number 2. The Wheat Kings' last championship came in the year 1996. He was the general manager of that team. He was a player on the first Brandon winning team in 78-79. We'll see how his group responds, trailing after the first period. Duke, Quenneville, and McGauley to start against left, True. And Ryan dropped his goal with an easy glove save.
Levitt Machinery's WHL on Shaw has been brought to you by Levitt Machinery. Online at levittmachinery.com.
Yeah, both overtime losses in Brandon. .926 save percentage for that guy right there. He was the number 3 star in game number 1. You know, the Seattle goaltending between Bo and Flodell led the Western Hockey League in shutouts with 8. Bo had 5, Flodell had 3. Really good tandem here now.
Clean face-off win. Clegg into the high slot now. Patrick Band feeds it towards Powerluck, but the other number 8, Enser, broke it up. Mitch Wheaton intercepted by Volkin, leaves it for Niles. Patrick protects it well and sends Coulter away. It's out of the reach of Powerluck, and the face-off will come right back into Brandon territory just 50 seconds into period number 2.
Peter, how tough is the road to the Memorial Cup? Colby Armstrong, one of my favorite guys as a player when he played in the league and now on television as an analyst, he said he lost 14 pounds on that run in 2001. He says he wasn't big to begin with. And then he put it in perfect perspective for me. He said, you know what, it's like the Stanley Cup champion, then going into a tournament to continue. That's how tough it is to get to the Memorial Cup and then win it.
Well, some feel that it's truly the toughest trophy to win in sport. That's Colby Armstrong's team back in 01 with that Memorial Cup victory in Regina. They beat Val-d'Or in overtime to win the title.
The year before, I was doing some games on another network, and let me tell you, that Sutter team, the year before the Memorial Cup, they had 6 16-year-olds. Never forget that. They took their time, took their lumps. Next year they win it.
That was an excellent team that won the title, as I mentioned, in the Queen City of Regina.
There's your Scholastic Player of the Year for the Western Hockey League.
He just keeps on getting better. He's been excellent in this series. Tanner Kaspick rated most recently by NHL Central Scouting at 79 amongst North American skaters. Guess where that total's going?
It's going upward big time, no question. I couldn't agree with you, Mark. Tanner Kaspick, 6'1", 202 forward that can score, that's got some ability around the net. Hey, wait till he gets to play on the second line. Wait till he gets a bigger role. Him and Matthias.
Well, he played for Canada at the Ivan Holinka Memorial Tournament in August. Bill, at some point, maybe not next year, I think he might have a quality chance to represent his country, maybe not in the upcoming tournament, but when he's a 19-year-old. Gutenberg towards McCoy Aircamps, who has an assist in the game. Stopped up by Ethan Bear. Lewis now, he takes a solid jolt as Gutenberg lays it back for Jordan Thompson, and Barzell blocked it, but couldn't get past Thompson as Lewis. Into the corner, sharp angle shot by McCorrister. Shearer reaches back to hold it in and lets the wrist shot go. And again, Bo is there to make his 10th save of the game.
Yeah, the Wheat Kings come out. There's certainly no way that they're getting pushed out of this game in any way that we saw, as we talked about in Game 3 in Moose Jaw and in Red Deer. They're attacking, getting pucks on the net, making sure that Bo has some traffic. But you know, there's a difference. Remember the Game 2, the times they got into the crease, they got on top of Landon Bo. They haven't been able to do that, or certainly haven't tried to do that to this point in this game.
Big Thunderbird defense doing an excellent job of boxing out in front for the most part. Two big customers on the ice together, and Smith and Jared Hoff on that Thunderbirds blue line. Hoff in pursuit, runs into McCorrister, and the rookie felt that. Enser just off the stick of Holoko will track it down. Nick Holoko from Burnaby. Smith to Hoff, wrist shot. Purdy had a pretty good look at it and hangs on as Thompson has words with the youngster Matthew Wedman.
Let's go back to Brandon. This is what I was talking about, crashing in net. There's Harlech. Here comes Harlech again. Magali just prior to that. Coulter, number 21. In Bo's kitchen, Harlech again. Surprised Harlech probably one more time there. Haven't seen any of that so far in this game here in Seattle.
Bo, the 20-year-old from St. Albert, 6'5", 207. In the fall, he attended the camp of the Anaheim Ducks. Left the shot, blocker save behind the net, belongs now to Croft. Croft, one hand off his stick, continues the cycle to Alexander True, who tied the game with the first and two first period power play goals. True to Ottenbright. Ethan Bear fakes a shot, wants a shooting lane. Quenneville fronts him very nicely. Dishes off True. I'm not sure Paperny saw it, but True pulled the trigger and just missed. Magali at center to Reed Duke. Quenneville on the forecheck against Ethan Bear. He's extended his playoff point streak to 7 with a first period assist. And an outlet on this play to Kevin Leff. Dumped at the line is dropped, and here's Clegg. Could easily be a first-round pick. The Wheat Kings defenseman, and a penalty upcoming to the Thunderbirds, a hooking call. And for the second time in the contest, the Wheat Kings will enjoy the power play.
Well, Ottenbright made several visits over to that box. We're not surprised at that. You saw Coach Konowalski's reaction. He knows his team's got to play with some better discipline. I mean, there's some, he engages, he makes contact at this point. And, you get the referee at the top of your screen having a very, very good look at that. Decided that certainly was not acceptable, and you're right, Wheat Kings on the power play.
They did not register a shot on goal with their first chance in the opening period, and cleared down the ice here again by Smith. Turner Ottenbright leads the playoffs in minor penalties. Howard tied up, and this will be icing. Here's one for you, Bill. Turner Ottenbright does come by it somewhat honestly. His dad, who I watched a lot of in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League with the Yorkton Terriers, had 1,329 minutes in penalties in Yorkton, played 3 seasons with the Erie Panthers of the East Coast Hockey League, and his dad, Grant, in those 3 seasons, had 854. You want to talk about tough. I believe he wore number 18 with the Terriers back in the day. His son has turned into a very good player.
Well, he's really picked it up, especially with the graduation of Shea Theodore.
And on the topic of picking it up, Urkamp's got all of it, and so did the glove of Landon Bowe.
Harlech down the wing into the offensive zone. Harlech has a look before he shoots it. He corrals the puck and then gets an awful lot on it. Urkamp's Provorov combined for 144 points. If I'm not mistaken, aren't they often playing against the other team's top line?
They certainly have been in this series. And more penalties on the way. High sticking the call. And it's going to go to Stelio Mateos. So 51 seconds into the power play for the Wheat Kings. It comes to a conclusion.
As that puck is cleared out over top of everybody, you saw Mateus right in front of the net get his stick up in the face. Probably trying to block that clear, not sure. Got to be responsible for your stick. We're going to play a little 4-on-4 here for 1 minute and 9 seconds or less.
And the Thunderbirds will then go back to the power play. They're 2 for 2 in this 2-1 advantage in a critical Game 3 as they trail the championship affair 2-0. Tishka. Barzell, a deflection, and a nice stop by Paperny. It's Barzell looking for his 3rd point of the evening. Quenneville backhands it towards Magali. Magali in a tussle with Ethan Bear towards Urkamps, and Gropp might get away, but Urkamps breaks it up and saved a breakaway. Did McCoy Urkamps. Ooh, Gropp was ready to head the other way by himself. Gropp weaves away from Kaspic. Puts it on the tape of Urkamps, and now a 2-on-1 developing. Duke the trailer, Fanned on it, just missed. Provorov fakes it, tees it up, Urkamps, and Bowe another quality stop. As the Wheat Kings come very close to connecting and tying the game 4-on-4. Now the penalty to Ottenbright is over, and the Thunderbirds back on the power play. Bear, the quarterback. Watched closely by Patrick, who scored a shorthanded tally in Game 2, his 12th of the playoffs. And he'll backhand it inside the zone, and Hawryluk all over Enser. Hawryluk and Enser. There's two guys who you never have to worry about their work ethic. Hawryluk waiting at the line, slides it neatly to Patrick. Patrick away from Enser, and still stays with it. As the Wheat Kings doing an excellent job. Down to 8 seconds to go on the power play, and with room, here's Barzal wheeling in. And Clegg will be penalized. Cross-checking the call.
You can see Clegg not very happy, but I think it's probably the right call. Kelly wants an explanation. Barzal with an awful lot of speed entering the zone. I'm not so sure Clegg has to get involved in this situation. What he can. The play is pretty much, well, that's pretty soft, man. There's not a whole lot of glove up in his face. Have a look here. The stick, now there, second look. Hey, you gotta get a second peek at some of this.
Kelly McCrimmon thinks it was embellished, and he is some hot. The architect of this Wheat Kings franchise, and what a great job he has done at the helm of this team for a long time. So 2 seconds remained when this penalty was called. So power play number 4 for the Thunderbirds, who are 2 for 3, as Quenneville puts on the brakes. Quenneville represented Canada at the most recent World Junior Hockey Championship in Finland. Drop. Chips it past Urkamp. Provorov on the end boards. Barzal back to the line it goes. Bear to Kolazar. Moves in. Blocked by McGawley. Another try. And Kolazar shut it wide. Egan Kolazar having his most impactful game of the series with a goal and a helper. Otbright rims it behind the net. Kolazar after it. Tapped by Duke, but not out. Held in by the youngster Tishka. Turned 17 in March. Kolazar has to go off the heel of his stick. Otbright hits Shearer. Otbright able to keep it in momentarily before Kaspic sends it down the ice. Tishka. Kaspic upends him shorthanded. Wants Hawryluk. And Enser taps it off the end boards and finds Niles. Niles to Enser. This group has been so good in the series. Enser. Backhander. Another chance. He shoveled it. Stopped by Paperny and cleared by Urkamp to center. Best chance of this power play. And Niles just offside at the line as we send it between the benches. Here's Stu Walters.
Yeah, thanks very much, Peter. You mentioned it a little bit. Kelly McCrimmon at the end of the bench, opening up the door here, wanting to talk to the referee, saying get in the game, not saying it so politely either, as you can imagine, and definitely thinking that was a bit of a dive on Matthew Barzal there on the last penalty, but really emphasizing the rest, yelling, get in the game. So a lot of emotion here at the Brandon Wheat Kings bench as they deal with a little bit of adversity.
8th time to the Western Hockey League final for Kelly. They're 2-5, won twice in 79 and 96, and have a 2-0 lead in this series here, but trailing tonight 2-1 with 11:21 left in this second period. You know, Nolan Patrick's on the ice right now, Peter. He's tied the game in both games in Brandon. He tied it at 1, he tied it at 2, and his team trailing right now by 1. He's probably thinking to himself, I'm the guy that can get us back into this game.
And I will be surprised if he's not the #1 overall pick in the 27 National Hockey League draft.
I don't know what more he's got to do, to be honest with you. But you know what happens when you become so familiar with a player? Scouts start picking holes in the game.
Alexander True trying to pick a corner. Kicked away by Paperny.
Not many in that guy's game right there that we just talked about, Nolan Patrick.
Patrick, 159 points in 130 regular season games. Howryluk, nifty move. Coulter knocked the stick of Hoff out of his hands. And then it rolled to the goaltender, and Coulter's disappointed with himself, thought he should have done better.
Boy, it sure is rare when there's only one weak king on a forecheck all by himself. It just doesn't happen. What a move by Hawryluk. Coulter starts it all. There always is pressure. There's always a three-man forecheck. Always guys around the puck. Brandon pursues that puck and chases it so well. They're so confident in their ability offensively. Hawryluk has been outstanding in this game. He has really been tough to deal with, as he is most nights. On the forecheck, and unlucky not to have a point in any fashion in this game. Quenneville, the lone goal for the Wheat Kings, his playoff leading 14. Talked about Patrick. Leads all playoff point getters with 27. Mateos, a backhander from close range, went wide on the short side. Barzal weaves his way through traffic. Matthew Barzal against Urkamps, who plays him effectively one-on-one, and that's not easy to do. Tishka back after it against Mateos. Towards Brandon Schildhouse. Into the skates. Quenneville trying to get free. Does backhander. And Bo sweeps it away just in the nick of time as Quenneville close to making it 2 on the evening. Tishka. Steve Konowalchuk's third pairing on the ice with that long change in the second. Hard to get off. Provorov, Brisker, and a hard one off the chest. As Hensser, back he comes. To Volkin, puts on the brakes, his shot goes off of Urkamps. Bill, second period's always for me a key, just because in terms of matchups and getting the ones you want can be a little easier to do. Niles, Enser, he hit the goalpost. Scott Enser rings it off the bars. The Thunderbirds an inch away from having their biggest lead in any game in this series. Hoff, watch closely. Wheaton, former Kelowna Rocket, came over earlier this year from Saskatoon. Now Patrick, sharp angle, it was rolling, didn't get much on it. Patrick on the cycle. Hawryluk in behind Patrick, who corrals it. He'll shoot it. Coulter providing a screen, but it goes wide. Brandon worked a lot in practice on the cycle and trying to extend it to make Seattle's big defense move. Wheaton off the end boards. Spinning Patrick, and what a block in front of the net by Volkin, and now Volkin after it with Coulter. And is there going to be one penalty or more than one? I think there may be only one, but we'll wait and see and let you know when we return. Scott Enser this close from adding to the Thunderbirds' lead.
Saskatchewan Indian Gaming Authority operates 6 First Nations casinos in Saskatchewan. For more information, visit siga.sk.ca.
Before and after the game, Tony Roma's offers casual family dining. Tony Roma's, a family destination, legendary ribs, and famous for so much more.
Hi folks, Don Taylor here. Need a lift? At Levitt Machinery, they sell, rent, lease, and service machinery for your material handling needs. And they offer certified training. Stack it, breach it, lift it. Levitt.
With Wheat Kings head coach Kelly McCrimmon. And Kelly, how pleased with your team's urgency in dealing with a little bit of adversity there to start the second?
Well, I think 5-5. We're playing hard. We're playing well enough. Our special teams have hurt us tonight. That's the reason we're down 2-1.
Are you doing enough to create down low? You're getting some grade A chances in front of Landon Bowe. How are you doing that?
He's made some good saves. We've had some chances. Obviously, you'd always want more, but we need to get going on our power play. We got a great opportunity here coming out of the break.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you,
guys.
This is the play he's talking about. This is why they're going to get the opportunity on the power play. I don't know. Look at the mess in front of the net. What happens there? There's guys falling, guys getting up. Here's the point. Opportunity here for Brandon.
Nolan Volkin in the penalty box. And the Wheat Kings with power play number 3 of the night upcoming. They're 1 for 12 in the series, as they try to draw even here. Brandon with a 17-12 edge overall in shots on goal. Moments ago, as we showed you, going to break, Scott Enser so close to making it 3-1. Clegg, 14 points already in the playoffs. Mateos an opportunity, but it was almost like a Bill Wilms wedge.
Probably better than Bill Wilms wedge.
Well, not compared to most, my friend.
Well, you see Cale Clegg and the wonderful job he's done. They really built on this Bantam draft in 2013. Cale Clegg, Brandon did. Got Patrick in the 4th overall and Cale Clegg 6th overall. He wears number 10 for the Wheat Kings.
I would suggest that draft worked out pretty well for Mr. McDermott and company.
And you go to round 2 at 25, you got Tanner Kaspick. That's a pretty good foundation to build a team around those 3 guys.
Kidding. Clegg with 14 playoff points. Rated 27th by NHL Central Scouting. Playing the best hockey of his Western Hockey League career in these playoffs. That's the opinion of many who watch on a very frequent basis. And has the puck now. Mateos on the power play with McGauley and Reed Duke. Glenville. Excellent play by Clegg, but then True with that big frame gets in the way to make sure the puck leaves the zone. And this time it's Kevin Left who flips it the length of the ice. It's the penalty-killing prowess of the Thunderbirds, which has been all season long, continues here this evening so far. Provorov engineers his way into the attacking zone, loses the handle, patiently waiting was Niles, and he makes no mistake clearing it down the ice.
Wow, you got to get a shot on goal. They've got to have something happen. I can see one power play maybe not working for this hockey club, but that's the guy you want entering the zone with the puck.
It's Nolan Patrick. Back to the line it goes. Provorov, Howrluck. Provorov into a shooting lane, blocked by Niles. Another shot, tipped in front. Coulter out of midair, and Bowe stuffed both of them. Niles can't clear the zone. Urkamp's off the shin pad of Hoff, and Smith takes a hit but clears it down the ice. And another penalty kill for the Seattle Thunderbirds. Team that did it at a rate during the regular season at 85.3%, tops in the Western League. Bear under duress. Barzell tries to swing it for Drop. And Drop lays into Cale Clegg. But Clegg, to his credit, bounces right back. This Drop on the line now again. Didn't start that way tonight with Barzell and Colasar. Duncan Campbell, who was in a first period altercation with Left. His shot deflects and will make its way out of the zone. Is racing after it is Barzell. He's got a step. Who's in? Backhander. Absolutely stoned by Paperny in front of Groff. He one-touched it. Wanted Tishka. Remember that save. Paperny a gem. And it remains 2-1. Thompson moves in. That wasn't an easy save. Enser with Colasar. Enser. Pass broken up neatly by Shearer. Wrist shot off the stick of Volkin. High and well over top of the net as Enser avoids a hit attempt from Jordan Thompson. Matthew Barzell exploded to the net, and Caperni robbed him. Got another beauty tonight, Game 3, after back-to-back overtime games, won by the Wheat Kings in Brandon. Patrick gallops through the neutral zone. Hard wrist shot, blocked away by Bow. Burkamp has to wait. Sends it in, and now they'll clear the zone. Hoff. Burkamps off the skate of Volkin. And slid in by Smith as Volkin looks a little shaken as he makes his way to the Thunderbirds bench. We'll keep an eye on number 26 in his help. Josh Urich fans on a wrist shot, and Provorov neatly reverses it to Hawryluk away from Holoko. Chase Hawryluk to Provorov. Heading to the net is Hawryluk off the stick. Hawryluk in front, hit Patrick, and just tipped away. I believe it went off Bear's stick and through the legs of Patrick, who had plenty of room by himself. 2-1 after one. It remains that way in the late stages of period 2 in Game 3. Really almost a must for the home side, trailing 2-0. They don't lose in this building very often. Mateos against Bear one-on-one, shoulders it away. Blake keeps it, jumped it through at the line. Mateos slides it behind the net, and here's Ethan Bear. Again, puck rolling off the stick of Lapp. Lapp can scoot into the zone. Broken up by Clegg. Holoko, backhander. Lapp providing the screen, and it just went wide. Now Magali, who threw an assist on the game's first goal by Quenneville, got spun around. Lapp, backhander from close range as he shows off his number one asset, his speed.
Two things that Seattle have to bring every game is a physical component from a guy like Ryan Drop on the forecheck, use his size, get on the defense. That's the way you eliminate the defense. And this particular play by Barzal with the speed and the quickness, that's just a great save by Paperny. And you know what? The other guys, Peter, kind of fill in when these two guys are leading. Those are a couple high draft picks, and when they play with that kind of urgency and that kind of determination, everything kind of falls in line after that.
Bo takes no chances as he jumps on the puck. 2:11 to go in period number 2. True and Kolazar both on the power play, less than a minute apart for the Thunderbirds. Quenneville opened the scoring for Brandon in the early stages of the first with his 14th.
You know, we've talked about this in the past. What do you have to do to beat this Brandon Wheat King team when the opponent scored 3 goals or less? 3 or less in the season. The opponent lost 46 times. You better score 4 or more to beat them.
Well, the Thunderbirds have held them to 3 in the first 2 games. Enser would like a third now against Provorov. In the hockey world defensively, that's called angling. And well done by number 9.
Yeah, great speed by Enser to the outside. Provorov handled him really well. This is Game 3 tonight. Take a look what's happening. You got Barzal with the 2 assists. He's got to come through that way. Bear is that leading guy on defense. And Keegan Kolesar, the big forward with all that size, a goal and an assist. They're not going to go very far in any game, I don't think, the Seattle Thunderbirds, unless those 3 guys are doing what they're doing tonight. And still, it's only a 1-goal lead against this high-octane Brandon King.
Barzal, Kolesar, and Bear back out. Loose in front. Schumacher unable to shoot the puck on target. Kolesar protects it against Big Mitch Wheat. It's freed for Cale Clegg. Bear back against Hawryluk. Hawryluk feeds Mitch Wheat, wrist shot high and missed by about 15 feet. As Barzal out of the reach of Kolesar at the line. Now he'll knock down Wheaton's pass and find Barzal. bursts into the zone again, turns back, still with it, for he's stripped by Hauerluck, and it's clear. It's over a minute to go in period number 2. Barzal, Hauerluck is changing. Barzal remains out there. Backhand saucer pass, a dangerous one. Turns into an odd man rush. Campbell scoops it wide as it went off the heel of his stick. Kaspick. Good stick by Ottenbright. To the line, but held in by Urkamp, and now gloved. One hopper would have looked great last night at Safeco from Landon Bowe.
Steve Konowalchuk, his first year with the T-Birds, his team missed the playoffs. Second year he got to round 1. Third year he got to round 2. Took a step backwards last year, Pete, when they lost in round 1 to Portland. But right now, his 5th year with his team, without a doubt, probably the best Seattle team in the last 20 seasons for Steve Konowalchuk.
Well, the year Konowalchuk was the player of the year in the Western Hockey League was 1992. That's when the Thunderbirds made their only appearance in the Memorial Cup when they hosted the event. Won by the Kamloops Blazers, one of the great finishes in Memorial Cup final history when Scott Niedermayer found Zach Boyer for the game winner with 15 seconds to go in regulation time to beat the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. Fabulous Sunday afternoon in Seattle. Smith. Enser with speed. Can he cut through the defenders?
He's going to try.
Provorov said no. 2-1 after 1. And Bill, for Scott Enser and friends, it remains 2-1 after 40 minutes.
Yeah, very interesting. First period, as Kelly said, McCrimmon said, you know what, his special teams let him down. 2 power play goals for Seattle with that 2-1 lead. Nothing, absolutely nothing happening except some solid saves. Period number 2, the Seattle team taking a 2-1 lead in a period number 3 in a building that they don't lose very often.
Jordan Paperny has had a very solid series. Here's Andy Neal.
All right, thanks very much, Peter. Tyler Coulter of the Brandon Wheat Kings will catch his breath and then chat with Stu Walters on the other side of the break. We'll hear from Kevin Sawyer again in tonight's NHL draft profile. Sam Steele of the Regina Pats. Scoreless in the second period, and Seattle will again have a 2-1 third period lead here on Levitt Machinery, WHL on Shaw.
Ketchup and mustard containers are just as happy in your blue bin as they are beside your barbecue. Find more information about Multi-Material Stewardship Manitoba and how you can recycle something new at simplyrecycle.ca.
I think I've always been telling stories for as long as I can remember, and so I got to this position by just continuing to find really interesting things that are happening in my community.
For the complete interview, go to globalnews.ca. Loren McNabb.
Hospital's Lottery, in support of the Red Deer Hospital, is back with their biggest lottery yet. 465 prizes valued at more than $1 million. Electronics, vehicles, and an incredible heli fishing adventure in BC. And the grand prize, a unique cottage-style dream home built by Sorrento Custom Homes, valued at $799,000. Make this year the best it's ever been. Ticket deadline is June 19th. Don't delay. Call now or visit hospitalslottery.com.
Dale Gloves WHL Central is brought to you by Bob Dale Gloves. Found online at bobdalegloves.com.
And welcome back to Seattle, where after 40 minutes of play, it is the Thunderbirds hanging on to their 2-1 lead over the Brandon Wheat Kings in Game 3 of the WHL Final. Here with Wheat Kings forward Tyler Coulter. And Tyler, just your thoughts on your team's road effort through 40 minutes so far.
We're playing hard. We're a little bit behind the 8 ball out here, but the third period's always our best, and we're looking to have a good one here.
How about dealing with a little bit of that adversity in the middle frame there and coming out strong on the PK? Was that important for you guys?
We definitely lost the special team battle in the first period, so we really had to make it up in the second.
Was this the type of atmosphere that you guys were expecting in this raucous building here tonight?
We've been here before in the season, and it was the exact same. We're coming to expect loud fans, and I think we're embracing it pretty well.
You guys changed up your routine, not having a game day skate today because the previous Game 3s that you guys have had have been kind of subpar efforts. Has that kind of changed up for you guys today? Noticing anything different?
We definitely just took the time away from the rink this morning to really focus on tonight, and I think it's coming out well. Everyone's trying to find their legs.
Tyler, thanks for your time. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, Andy Neal, Tyler Coulter playing his 37th playoff game tonight. So let's head up to you to WHL Central.
And his 5th goal of the playoffs was the tying goal in Game 2 on Saturday night. Big thanks to Tyler. Big thanks to Stu as well. Back here at Bobdell Gloves, WHL Central, alongside Kevin Sawyer. Another dandy tonight through 40 minutes of play. And goaltending has been such a big story through 2 games and 2 periods. Again tonight, they've come up big when called upon.
Really have. That was the story of the second for me, for sure. Brandon really bounced back after a first period, giving up 2 power play goals, but Brandon outshot Seattle 11-6, and Bo was the difference. He was tested time and time again, and he just looks solid in there. He's not overreacting to really anything, and I think his team has hung on to him. He put them on their back in that second period. I thought they got outplayed a little bit at times from Brandon, but Paperny wasn't tested nearly as much. But how about that save against Barzell in the breakaway? You talk about timely saves, and there's no better example of a timely save than that. Paperny turns away a real good backhand attempt from Barzell, so both goaltenders outstanding in the second.
Speaking of goaltenders, Peyton Lee is on the move from the Edmonton Oil Kings to the Kootenay Ice. He's a Cranbrook product as well, and so much talk from Edmonton after that deal was made about his importance in getting the Oil Kings into the playoffs.
Well, he took over for Patrick Day late in the regular season due to injury, and he had that big win in the tiebreaker against Medicine Hat, and then of course won the first 2 games against Brandon in the playoffs. Obviously they lost in 6, but this is a guy with 168 games of experience in the league, and he'll head over to Cranbrook, and he'll be a mentor to Declan Hobbs, who's their 17-year-old goaltender. And I would anticipate both goaltenders getting a lot of playing time next year. As we know, Kootenay is rebuilding. They had a tough year this year. Both goaltenders will see a lot of shots, but I think they've got a mature veteran 20-year-old goaltender in Lee, and I think it'll be a good fit for the organization to add Lee.
Well, Vancouver and Prince George in the BC division already looking for head coaches, and now the Kelowna Rockets, after 100 points and another trip to the 3rd round, they've separated ways with Brad Ralph. How surprised were you about that announcement?
You might shake your head at me to say that I was. For a guy that won 48 games in the regular season, and when he got to the 3rd round and beat Victoria in 7 games in overtime, I'm not surprised. If you look at the culture that Kelowna has, and they've got a very thick culture, and you look at the last 2 head coaches that they've had, and Dan Lambert was an assistant coach for 5 years before he was the head coach in Kelowna, and you look even back farther where Ryan Huska, he was assistant for 5 years. So they really molded and developed their coaches into that organization, and I just think it was a tough position for Brad Ralph to be in. He had success in the East Coast League, where he coached in Idaho with the Steelheads. He won 48 games last year with them, and he was a runner-up for the Coach of the Year. So he's a good coach. I just think that wasn't necessarily the right fit, and I don't think that Kelowna was playing that Kelowna style of hockey. There's little details that aren't normally happening with that team did happen this year at times, and they'll look for a better fit in a coach for next season.
You know, they went to the outside to get Brad Ralph outside the organization to bring him in prior to the season. Do you think any of the assistant coaches might be ready to go or move up? Because Dan Lambert, remember, a couple of years ago went from assistant coach when Ryan Huska left to head coach.
My hunch is no. I don't think that they will. They don't have that much experience in their assistant coaches, and I think that they will look outside of their organization for the first time in a lot of years. But that's just a hunch. I know that they develop within, but I got a feeling they're going to go outside here. They've still got a real good core. They've got a really young group, and look at a guy like Dylan Dubé for me, where as good of a player as he is, I didn't think they got nearly what they could have out of him in the second half, and some of that could be coaching. I think they'll look for a really good, strong leadership outside.
Well, Ontario Hockey League Championship night off tonight, but London has Niagara on the ropes down 3 games to none, and they are being led offensively by a powerhouse first line. And Matt Tkachuk, one of the top prospects for the 2016 NHL draft, has been a big reason for that.
Does he ever? This guy's ranked second amongst all North American skaters, and much like his dad, who's a teammate of mine from my Phoenix days, he is a big, strong, skilled player. Look at this in front of the net. He can score in many ways. That's a tip from behind his back. He's got 40 points in the postseason, and like his dad, I said earlier, a big, tough kid. Look at, he takes the hit. Look at that backdoor pass. He doesn't lose the puck under pressure, and here, he goes between his legs. Look close. Between his legs to the net, and he gets the assist. That is all sorts of confidence and swagger from a very special player. By the way, that top line for the Knights, they combined for 107 points in 17 games with Dvorak and Mitch Marner. That's a pretty tough line to stop.
Inside the WHL with Kevin Sawyer, we'll take a quick timeout from Seattle with the Thunderbirds leading 2-1 over the Brandon Wheat Kings, down in the series 2 games to nothing. And here's a look at that great stop by Jordan Verperton to keep it a 1-goal game here on Levitt Machinery WHL on Shaw.
I'm not just here to fluff your pillow. I'm not just here to take your temperature.
I'm not just here to hold your hand.
We're here because we worked hard to get here. We're here because we can help.
All registered nurses in Manitoba are educated, experienced, and a big part of your care.
Levitt Machinery WHL Hockey is live on Shaw. Catch the NHL stars of tomorrow today. Shaw TV is home to the 2016 WHL playoffs. The journey will start with 16 teams and will have all the hits, the saves, and the goals until one team is crowned WHL champions. For complete playoff broadcast information, visit shawtv.ca or whl.ca.
Hi, I'm Don Taylor here at Levitt Machinery, inviting you to watch Levitt Machinery's WHL on Shaw.
The Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Available at Lone Star Mercedes-Benz. Current offers at lonestarinsider.ca.
Getting to play against the best competition there is for 16 to 20-year-olds, and what many consider to be the best junior league in the world is why I love playing in the WHL.
Each of these 40 pucks represents 1,000 Albertans living with Alzheimer's or other dementias. Here's how you and the NHL alumni can help fight this battle. Support the Alzheimer's Face-Off Hockey Tournament, April 30th to May 1st at the Terwilliger Recreation Center. Donate today. The funds raised go to Alzheimer's research. Get in the game. Research gives us hope for tomorrow.
Bobdale Gloves out-of-town scoreboard tonight. The QMJHL Championship, Shawinigan gets its first win in Game 4, outscoring Rouyn-Noranda by 6-4 count, but down 3 games to 1, and the Huskies can wrap that up now on home ice Thursday night in Game 5. And the London Knights in the OHL Championship have come from behind 6-5 overtime win last night over the Niagara Ice Dogs, leading 3 games to none, and Game 4 goes tomorrow night in Niagara. Welcome back to Bobdale Gloves, WHL Central. We're going into the 2013 Bantam Draft. All the talk was Tyler Benson, who was drafted first overall by the Vancouver Giants, but Sam Steele was very highly rated. And one thing about this year for Sam, he was healthy at playoff time. Big reason why Regina got to round 2. And he's our focus tonight in our NHL Draft prospect profile. Regina Pats forward Sam Steele has been looked to as the centerpiece of a rising contender in the East Division since he went second overall in the 2013 Bantam Draft. Steele was one of last season's top 16-year-old scorers with 54 points in 61 games. but a late season injury cost Steele his first taste of WHL playoff hockey.
It was, crazy to see the emotions and everything through the playoffs, so I guess it just made me hungry for this year. But it was definitely tough watching them, especially, they're playing such a good game, and, we had 2 really good series, so, like I said, it makes me hungry for this year.
The Sherwood Park, Alberta product was healthy this season and would play in all 72 games, posting 70 points. Steele was even more dangerous in the playoffs, with 16 points in just a dozen games. After nearly making it to the conference championship, optimism is high in the Saskatchewan capital, with Steele a big key to that.
Sam Steele and the Pats have their first lead.
The moves they made last year were definitely tough moves for the organization, moving out those older players that meant a lot to the organization. So, but what we got in return is a bunch of young, hungry players that, I think that it's bright for the future.
Steele is described as a very intelligent player on the ice, a skill that may have blossomed while growing up on the family's backyard rink.
When you're having fun, that's when you get the most creative, and you really see everything that's going on around you. So, I don't know if that's the answer, but I guess it's something.
Steele's goal has always been to play in the NHL, but it's the memory of his older brother Patrick, who died suddenly in November of 2011, that drives him every game.
It's my big brother, so he's always supported me, but he's a huge inspiration for me. It's somebody that I always play for, so it's tough, but I just always remember him.
Ranked 30th by NHL Central Scouting, Steele's NHL dream will be closer to touch in June at the NHL Draft.
I've always wanted to play in the NHL ever since I can remember, and there's so many people supporting me that it really makes me want to get there and make everybody proud. Hopefully I get my name called, and I'll be happy to go to any team.
WHL goalie of the week last week, Landon Bowe of the Seattle Thunderbirds, 2-0 with a 2.05 goals against average, and in the first 2 games of this championship series against Brandon, a .926 save percentage, which is likely climbing with his performance through 2 periods here tonight in Game 3 of the championship. Brandon has trailed in 8 straight playoff games, and yet they've won 6 of the 7 prior to tonight. They have another comeback in them this evening on Levy Machinery, WHL on show.
Bob Dale Gloves WHL Central is brought to you by Bob Dale Gloves. Found online at bobdalegloves.com.
Tony Roman's, serving its signature ribs for 40 years. With an expanded menu including steaks, chicken, and seafood, Tony Roman's is a family dining destination. Tony Roman's, legendary for ribs, famous for so much more.
Welcome to Select Fluid Power, home of our brand new state-of-the-art cylinder repair and hard chrome plating facility. With a fully equipped hydraulic cylinder repair shop, Select Fluid Power is your one-stop cylinder repair shop. Open 7 days a week, serving Western Canada.
Crown Isle Resort and Golf Community offers year-round outdoor golfing, accommodations with in-room jacuzzi, timber room bar and grill, and real estate opportunities. More info at crownisle.com.
Hi folks, it's me, Don Taylor, way up here with my friend Murph. At Levitt Machinery, they sell, lease, rent, and service all these machines, and they offer certified training. Need a lift? Stack it, breach it, lift it. Levitt.
Oh. Yeah. We be brushing. We be brushing. Yeah. Check it out. We be brushing. Yeah. We be brushing. Yo. We be brushing. Yeah. We be brushing. We be brushing. Yeah. We be brushing. Yo. We be brushing. Yeah. We be brushing. Yeah. Brush.
The Seattle Thunderbirds at home trying to make their way back into this series, Bill. They lead the game 2-1. We've talked about that they've been so good in this building, and you think that tonight's kind of been all of the key factors at once.
Yeah, no kidding. They're big, they're physical, they've got some skill, they've got some goaltending. And for those 3 things to work together, this is what you're fighting against in this against this hockey club. That's Josh Urich with a hit on Lewis. There's a size difference. Jared Hoffman, McCorrister. When these guys are playing this kind of physical game, this is a tough team to play against. Urich again at it, targeting Urkamps. And you know what? You get the goaltending. This started at the end of period number 1, the big save on Harlock. And then again, Landon Bowe with a glove save on Urkamps. Harlock cutting around the net again. Another shot from the point. As the job that he does in the net for this Seattle team, it just makes that physical play so much more effective. This is a skill that's come on board here with this hockey club. This is the reason it's not a 3-1 lead. Matthew Barzal, look at that. Had he scored there, you'd have all the components together for the Seattle team with a 3-1 lead, but they don't. They get a big save from Paperny. It keeps the score what it is, 2-1, but somehow this Brandon team's got to fight through what that Seattle team threw at him that period.
The series count is Brandon 2, Seattle looking for its first win. The Thunderbirds trying to put themselves in a position when we return tomorrow night to tie the affair. A Brandon win means they could capture the Ed Chenoweth Cup here tomorrow. And Bill, before we go any farther, couple of things as we show you. We'll be on the air tomorrow night, 7 Pacific. Shout out to all the people in Fort McMurray. We're thinking about you, all the firefighters, all the volunteers. Unbelievable work, and we just pray for all the people that have been affected. And we have a 58th wedding anniversary. Our terrific producer, Dave Roberts, mom and dad today celebrating anniversary number 58. Groff wheels into the zone, drop, stopped by Paperny. 15 seconds in, and Groff with another opportunity to give the Thunderbirds a 2-goal advantage. Isn't that something? 58 years of marriage.
Yeah, and we can give a shout out here, I guess, to the Cactus Club where they spent their dinner and got that key lime pie because of the anniversary.
Coulter robbed by Bowe. Another large save by the Thunderbirds netminder.
Outstanding. He just there at the timing of the saves are so critical.
So Paperny at one end and Bowe at the other. Volkin, nice strength. Niles and Wheaton with his large frame got in front of it. Hot and bright behind the net towards Niles with Enser and Volkin. Patrick wheels out of the zone. Nolan Patrick one-on-one with Bear. Backhander right through the crease. Howrluck to Provorov. Knocked down by the chest and point pass by Volkin to spring Enser, but Wheaton and Provorov combined to stop him in his tracks. Provorov in behind the net. He'll look to make a change. Bowe turned it over, and it went right through the crease. Campbell almost banked in the equalizer. So close. Provorov, and fighting through traffic to make that save was Bowe.
Levitt Machinery is a proud sponsor of WHL on Shaw. Need a lift? Stack it. Reach it. Lift it. Levitt.
Well, here's a break for Seattle. This puck would end up in the net the other night in Brandon. Look at that wraparound play. In fact, not quite a wraparound. That's Campbell just thrown it into the paint area. Watch where this puck ends up. Goes off the skate of Matt Barzal and goes right through the crease out the other side.
Well, you need some good breaks to win. Brandon had a couple of fortuitous bounces to win game 2 in overtime to take a 2-0 advantage in this best of 7 Western Hockey League Championship Series. Turned over at center. Now Lewis with some room. Lewis a shot. And Bowe a bit of a juggle, but he takes care of that. Save number 23.
Peter, nice job winning the faceoff inside the Seattle zone by the Thunderbirds. And as they get that puck up into the neutral ice area there's a turnover. And watch how quickly the team in black, the Wee Kings, one quick accelerated pass up the ice. They knew that they'd get back to the defense. It's coming up the ice in a hurry and a nice transition. Haven't been many of those. Haven't been a lot of turnovers in this game. I think both teams have protected the puck and managed it quite well.
Good chances early in this period at both ends, and we've only played 1:58. All the goals came in period number 1. Both Seattle markers on the power play less than a minute apart from True and Kolazar. Quenneville opened the scoring. This is a tip off the stick of Mateos, and he redirected it, but there was not a lot of steam after the redirection.
Stelio Matthias, ridiculous numbers in Bantam. 103 points in 35 games played. He's up there with Ryan Nugent Hopkins and Tyler Benson type numbers. And that's in a 50-game schedule. 16 years old. I keep thinking to myself, this kid's only 16 years old, Pete. He's a third-line guy. Wait till he gets a bigger role next year. Look out.
And you can tell Mom and Dad to book their tickets right now for the Ivan Holenka Memorial Tournament in August, where he will represent his country.
No mistake about that one.
See your travel agent tonight. And icing is the call.
Peter, I love his size, going back to Mateos for a minute. You know, he's 16. He's 195 pounds. He's 6'1". Handles the puck well. First overall Bantam pick. Great company. 2013, Tyler Benson, first overall. In 12, it was Matt Barzal. 2011 with Jake Bertanen. Look at the beard. Come on, 16 years old. Can you grow a beard at 16?
I can't grow a beard now. I'm 50. And thank goodness, if I never had to shave again, that would be just fine. Schumacher off the glass and in behind the net. Urkamps, his partner Provorov on defense. Magali to Duke, returns it at the line. Now it's Duke. Duke for Quenneville, jumped off the blade of his stick. Magali had a first period assist to Reed Duke, who has 7 goals. Feathers it in front, does make its way. Quenneville, a rocket wrister, and Bo got a shoulder on it.
You know what, if you just hang around the front of the net, sometimes obviously good things happen. Landon Bo, I mean, he's been under a lot of pressure. He's made some key saves, but again, on the forecheck, watch the 3 Brandon Wheat Kings guy just around the net. There you go. There's a backhand. There's another guy. There's Quenneville finally getting the puck free, and Landon Bo with that big body just gets those shoulders up so big and high, covers the top part of the net beautifully.
Boy, can John Quenneville shoot a hockey puck. Heavy, sticks to you, and nearly notched his second of the game to tie this affair. Games 1 and 2 both required extra time, with the Wheat Kings winning 3-2. Drop. First to a loose puck in the attacking zone. To Smith. Traffic in front. On the high wrist shot from the Seattle captain, who's been very impressive in this set. Patrick delays, waits, shoots off of Hoff. Puck finds its way to Hauerlich. Hauerlich in left. Backhand pass. Smith intercepts side of the goal, and now head up. Only outlet he had was off the high glass. And icing the call is between the benches again to Stu Walters.
Thanks, Peter. Yeah, no question that Kelly McCrimmon and the Wheat Kings want to use their speed and quickness to their advantage, but we saw this a little bit at practice yesterday where they were moving pucks side to side, and Kelly McCrimmon talked about that, kind of an extended cycle, moving east to west, Peter, kind of getting Seattle to shift their defensive structure so they can find those gaps in the slot for some one-timers. See how it works out here in the third period.
16:22 remaining in regulation. Thunderbirds need to get on the board in this series. The Wheat Kings would love nothing better to move to within 1 win of their 3rd ever Western Hockey League title. Mateos out with Kaspic and Campbell as Hoff off the boards into the feet of Brock to the neutral zone and goes. Steve Konowalchuk wants to make a change after that icing. Provorov against Bear. Provorov into the zone, tries to delicately slide it past Bo on the short side, and nearly did. Kolazar away from the pack to Barzal. Barzal weaves into the high slot, runs into Campbell and Kaspic. Kolazar there for support as Barzal dumped by Campbell. Kolazar does have it. Tishka into the glove of Jordan Paperny.
No, we didn't mention this when the series was in Brandon, but Keegan Colasar was born in Brandon. Spent 4 years there before he and his mom moved to Winnipeg. Played minor hockey on outdoor rinks, Colasar did, in Winnipeg, and last year a third-round pick. He was actually in Brandon when his name got called at the draft. He was at his grandma's house, his family following the draft, and actually saw him in round 3. That's got to be pretty exciting stuff.
Amazing. This year's draft, the NHL in late June in Buffalo. Several Western Hockey Leaguers will have their name called. Jarrett Smith, once again, wrist shot goes over top of the net. Colasar tracks it down out there with Barzal and Holoko again. Smith, loose in front, backhander by the captain, and that didn't make its way through the maze in front. Magali now into the zone with Quenneville. Hot Bright off his stick, Wheaton in deep. Has Quenneville, and that hit a body and just went wide. John Quenneville again with a quality opportunity. Magali turns and twists. Tim Magali from Wilcox, Saskatchewan. Held up by Smith. And Barzal away from Quenneville, his World Junior teammate. With speed, accepts the pass. Barzal! Off the shoulder of Paperny. A dynamite stop by the Wheat Kings, number 33. Both goalies again have been very good. Niles backhands it in, gives chasing at Provorov. Flag between his legs, finds Patrick. Patrick, tight turn to Coulter, who slides it for Howerla. Pass in behind Flag, who jumped up looking for a pass on his tape in the neutral zone with speed. Coulter, who scored the equalizer off his shin pad in the third period on Saturday to force the overtime. Turned over by Smith. Howard on the blast from about 20. Picked away by Bowe. Patrick cycles. Howerla tries to drop it off short side, and Volkin was there, and Hintzer trying to get away and ran into Jordan Thompson. Here comes Patrick. Puts on the brakes, wrist shot, and he can deliver it. You saw that on that short-handed tally that made a water bottle explode on Saturday.
One of the finest shots, one of the better wrist shots, maybe one of the best I've seen in the Western Hockey League, because that was good positioning by Landon Bowe, and he just blew it right past him.
He sent that thing into the amphitheater at the end of the building, and I mean behind where the players go out.
Peter, there's not a lot of turnovers by either team. They protected and managed the puck well, but this is Smith with the puck. He's backing into his own end. He's looking up the ice, seeing who's open, and puts it right on the stick of Harlech. And boy, I could hear that puck through these headsets hit the pads, as you probably could too. Here's the shot right off the pads of Landon Bowe. What an acquisition. What a smart acquisition by Russ Barlow to acquire the big goaltender from Swift Current.
Great move by the longtime general manager. 26 saves. And a lot of quality saves. Left. 2-on-1 with Crew now. Kevin left. Off the goalpost. In behind Paperny and rang it off the bar. Off, intercepted by Kaspic. Knocks him down. Play continues. Swept out of harm's way by True. Bear in a battle with Mateos. And True reverses behind the net. Cavan left, looking for his first goal and point of the series. Rings it off the iron, and it remains a one-goal difference.
You know, go back to the first game in Brandon. He got the first scoring chance for either team. Got in behind the defense, but Paperny made the save.
About 2.5 minutes into game number 1.
Right.
The product of Tabor, Alberta. Bill, we've been here a lot. A 2-1 third period lead for the Thunderbirds.
Watch this play. A catch for Brandon Wheat Kings inside the blue line of the Seattle Thunderbirds. Leth rings one off the post. Tries to go upstairs. Paperny might have got a piece of this, not sure. But again, not often the Wheat Kings get caught with 4 guys on the forecheck inside Seattle blue line.
You see the reaction. Great shot by our fabulous crew. I want to thank. Such a wonderful job to bring you all the sights and sounds. Appreciate their work very much. Urkamps. Schumacher back out with Kolazar and Barzell. It's been a bit of a revolving door on the one wing for Steve Konowalchuk. Quentville leaves it. Provorov moves in, and he didn't miss by much. Ooh, Provorov, quality chance. Magali, Quentville, he scores! Second of the night for Quentville, and we're tied at 2.
So dangerous. You know, that play just prior to that started way back in the Brandon zone. Love the way they came out of their end. Moved that puck promptly, got it up into the offensive zone. Peter, that's when Provorov missed. Was perfectly in the slot. But this is what a good team does. They keep the drive alive. They keep the pressure alive. And where does it go? Again, it goes deep. It goes behind the net. And as soon as you get that puck there, you got every Seattle Thunderbird watching that back wall. Look at Alone by himself in front. And Quentville knows that once it's on his stick, that's a pretty neat little pass. All he's got to do is go 5-hole. He's going to get the big goaltender spread in the pads, and he buries it.
So moments after Leth hits the crossbar, Quentville ties it, second of the night, and is 15th in the playoffs. Volkin behind the net, belongs to Wheaton, off the glass. Crazy Hawk Niles had it roll off the heel of his stick, or he might have had a quality chance. Inches in this series where there has been so little to choose from. Bounce here, a goal post here. 2-2 again in the third.
Peter, the whole line involved. This is Quentville, Magali, and Duke. There is the entry. And that puck is going to end up behind the net. This is Magali right there with a back pass of Quentville. You know, I've said this before, the overtime winner back against Render. I said he kind of makes a stealth-like appearance. You know, you don't know exactly where he is. His timing is absolutely exquisite in terms of getting to that area so that he finds himself pretty much wide open.
The first-round pick of the New Jersey Devils in 2014 has a pair, including the equalizer, here in the third. Brandon with a win takes a very commanding 3-0 advantage. Seattle right back in the series if they can find a way, and the team that has 2 power play goals already tonight is going back to the power play because Duncan Campbell delivers a check from behind on Keegan Kolazar.
Now you got to question that. You know, Kelly's got to be thinking, you know, we just tied the game. Why give him this shot back? Look at the entire Brandon bench. They got to back away. They know this guy's coming right at him. Bang, everybody's got to get out of the way. All 3 games in this series, the Seattle Thunderbirds have led at some point in the third period. And they've had that Brandon team tie it. They've been able to tie it here tonight on the Quentville goal. T-Birds back on the power play.
Kelly McCrimmon takes a look up. At the score clock here at the Showware Center. Excellent building. Quentville short-handed. Has a stick lifted by Ethan Bear, who has a power play assist in the game. You see it. The Thunderbirds 2 for 4 with a man advantage. Both of them coming less than a minute apart in period number 1 as Kolazar nearly sent in by Bear.
You know, we talk about game-breaking stuff. You know, some people have it with speed. We talk about game-breaking speed. Some have a game-breaking shot. That guy right there has got game-breaking puck sense. Everybody will tell you that. Look at his points tonight. He's been involved on both of the goals. Got an opportunity on the power play for the Seattle team, but him and his group are going to start this power play right now, 200 feet from the Brandon net.
61-52 in attendance here in Kent, Washington. Drop. Nice move to the middle of the ice, but his pass hit the skate of Cale Clegg. Power play for the Thunderbirds. Howerlich makes no mistake, backhanding it down the ice. Oh, with Patrick on top of him, and now Barzal in full flight enters the zone, but his pass stopped up, and the puck cleared once again by the visitors. Bears stripped by Reed Duke now. Kaspick in deep on the forecheck while killing this penalty. Now Bear fans and a pass. Ethan Bear leads all defensemen in playoff scoring with 18, but that's a tough 20 seconds. Enser puts on the brakes. He loses it to McGauley, who's had quite a night. The veteran with 2 assists and makes a whale of the play there. 10 to go on the man advantage. Niles. Enser trying to cut past Clegg. Shovels it wide. Back to the line, and Volkin thought about teeing it up. Penalty to Campbell has expired. So an important kill for the Wheat Kings. Niles wants Enser, and there defensively again is McGauley. And Campbell out of the penalty box, able to move it. Did he get to center? He did. 8:08 in regulation, and we're tied at 2.
And we headed for OT again. A lot of hockey left in this one, but my goodness, these teams are close.
Howerlich with a little room to operate. Howerlich delays, waits, intercepted by Kolesar. Kolesar darts into the zone with Holoko, leaves it to Barzal. Tried to dance past Provorov, and again, the Russian defender makes a quality play.
He really bailed out Harwood on a really poor decision, making a pass across the blue line.
Patrick dumped by Hawk, still loose, as Holoko manages to play it past Provorov. And icing, or pardon me, offside is the call. Down to 7:23 to go. At one end, crossbar. At the other, Quenneville tied it.
Helijet flies between Vancouver and Victoria, as well as Vancouver and Nanaimo. Day or night, rain or shine, plus free parking and shuttle service at all terminals. Take off today by calling 1-800-665-4354 or click helijet.com.
Tony Roma's, serving its signature ribs for 40 years. With an expanded menu including steaks, chicken, and seafood, Tony Roma's is a family dining destination. Tony Roma's, legendary for ribs, famous for so much more.
Hi folks, it's me, Don Taylor, way up here with my friend Murph. At Levitt Machinery, they sell, lease, rent, and service all these machines, and they offer certified training. Need a lift? Stack it, breach it, lift it. Levitt.
Well, again, we're tied at 2. Brandon opens the scoring in period 1, John Quenneville. But boy, this Seattle power play hadn't been very good on home ice. 1 for 32 to go to work. Alexander True in a power play ties it at 1 for Seattle. And then Keegan Kolesar on a same power play now with one-man advantage. He's going to give this team a 2-1 lead. No scoring in period number 2 until this in period number 3. John Quenneville alone in front. Beautiful job. His second of the game, his 15th of the playoffs. And Peter, until Quenneville scored there, the Seattle Thunderbird team in all 3 games in this series have had a 2-1 lead in period number 3. And here we are tied at 2 with 7:23 left in this third period.
True with left, who rang one off the bar moments ago. And drop out against the line that's been the best for the Wheat Kings tonight. Duke, Quenneville, and McGauley. They have supplied both goals off the stick of Quenneville. Here's Stu Walters.
Yes, thanks very much, Peter. And just within the game, T-Birds head coach Steve Konowalchuk saying we're at our best when we're hard on the forecheck. We want to play fast-paced, but don't want to get into a track meet with the Wheat Kings, obviously, like they did in the third period of Game 1. We saw how that turned out, but hard on the forecheck. We'll see how the last 7 minutes here play out.
Herkamps clears it in deep. Second among defensemen and points in the regular season. Very impressive, 71. Duke spins, hits big Jared Hoff, and out to center it goes. But Clegg, good pass to find Duke. Rink wide towards Quenneville. It's behind his back. Ooh, large hit by Duke as he knocks down Jared Smith in behind the goal. You can feel the trepidation, can't you, Bill, in the building?
Everybody just kind of on their edge of the seat, wondering what, how obviously so much at stake here in the last 6 minutes. And you know what's happening, game 1 and 2 in Brandon.
The Birds know that losing tonight is just something they can't do. Howrluck, Coulter backhand, steered away by Bow and Answer. Volkin against Shearer. Answer now in the corner. Answer towards Niles off a skate. Ottenbright had backed out. Howrluck working against Ottenbright. Reversed it, but awaiting was Patrick, and there's the diligence of Answer to be in the right place on the right side of the puck. Good read by number 8 of the Thunderbirds. That's nothing new. Herkamps in quite a tussle. Smith fakes the shot, now moves down into the corner, twisting against Kaspic. Towards Kolazar. Fights off the check of Herkamps, but then has to deal with another Wheat King, and safe play and off the glass and out. Just over 5 to go in regulation time, where you could cut the tension in here with a knife. Butter knife.
Well, you don't want to make mistakes. You want to be careful. You want to manage that puck really well.
Smith watched by Mateos, and he'll wait for the breakout to form. Barzell comes out, this time with left and drop. That's a different trio. Smith engineers his way in, blockered away easily by Paperny. Campbell to Stelio Mateos. Cross corner shooting before he and the rest of his line mates make changes. Sent back in by Wheaton. Bears pass, good reach by Ottenbright. As Groff taps it to center, and True, as his first goal of the championship series tonight, shoots it in. Quenneville away from Groff. McGauley in the trailing Clegg now. Cale Clegg delays, intercepted by Ethan Bear. And Bear, good outlet to Donovan Niles as the Thunderbirds are changing. He fans on a shot. Bear doesn't. Was rolling and went wide. Nolan Volkin into the slot for Niles, but runs right into Reed Duke. Boy, those passes are dangerous, Bill.
You want to look for the safe pass, which obviously more often than not is up the wall.
Every puck in deep that you can in this situation for both teams. Important. Provorov just missed. Hit Smith. An opportunity for Coulter. And he shovels it just wide to the far side. Coulter that close to giving Brandon the lead. Pressing. Coulter again leaves it. Howrluck and diving was Niles to make sure Provorov couldn't shoot it. Volkin and Answer. 2-on-2 against Herkamps and Provorov, and now everybody back in the zone. Dangerous opportunity for the Wheat Kings. Kaspic, the overtime hero in game 1, into the bread basket of Landon Bow.
Really good action. This is Provorov. You know, the more that play happens back along the back wall, the more Provorov's going to sneak in from somewhere. He gets a shot. Coulter follows that up with another chance. That relentless forecheck. It produces so many scoring chances. And then the last one was a nice job of coming up that left wing by Casper. But look at this pressure in the offensive zone. That was as good and as deep as Provorov's going to get in a situation like that. A good check, stick check, deflected that puck away from him.
Fantastic diving effort by Donovan Niles. 2:54 to go in a 2-2 tie. It's like Groundhog Day in this series. Koloko on left wing. Plays it through the crease area, finds its way to Ethan Bear, relays it down low in a hurry, and Clegg on the wing to Mateos, to Kaspic. Bear up the middle with this roll the right way for him. Nope, puck turned on its end, but rolled away from the goaltender, and deep will come the face-off.
Good job by Answer getting an opportunity, and Matt Barzal so good around the net all the time. You know, you just feel, Peter, in a situation like this, a team that has a little bit more depth in scoring. Talked about the 520-plus point getters coming into tonight's game for Brandon, one for Seattle. Might that be a difference, a depth in scoring?
And experience, Bill. 14 players for this Wheat King team played in the League Championship Series 1 year ago when they were swept by Kelowna. You can downplay it, but I think it makes a big difference.
No question. But they're coming out with a little bit more authority. Looks like Brandon's coming up the ice a little quicker, getting pucks on the net. Again, the confidence that they have offensively.
Quenneville, who has both Brandon goals, sliding into Landon Bowe's been no stranger to activity like that in this series.
You know, there was such a great push at the finish for John Quenneville in the regular season. He had 24 points his last 15 games, and you know, the 2 goals tonight gives him 15 on the season. You saw the last play there by Quenneville. Not surprised that he's carried that finish that he finished the regular season with into the playoffs. He's been fantastic.
Playoff markers 14 and 15. Off the draw, a dangerous chance for Howerla. He's back out with Coulter, who had a quality opportunity a couple of moments ago, and of course, Nolan Patrick. Niles deflects it deep. Fans back into it. Howerluck to Coulter. Cross corner shoot in as Brandon makes changes. Under a minute and a half remaining in regulation time. And offside is the call. Answer exchanges unpleasantries at the end of the rink with the goalie Paperny before making his way to the bench.
Yeah, he's a guy you want on the ice, either offensively, defensively. It's just that you cannot keep Scott Enser from playing. He's got to. I mean, did he want to go for a line change? Coach said, wait a minute, you got a minute and 22. I need you out there right now for your checking ability, your defensive ability. But he's the kind of guy that can score for you, check for you. He's always elevated his game, scoring-wise, especially come playoff time.
Tell you what Steve Konowalchuk thinks of him out there with Barzal and Kolazar late in the game. And at the end of a long shift, it turns into 2. Kaspic protects it well. Barzal knocks it out of midair. A minute to go in the third. Barzal, Beer! Paperny with a great stop. Got a blocker on it, and it was wired. Enser towards Barzal as Provorov ties him in a knot. What a chance for Bear. Campbell blockered away by Bowe. And Smith takes his time up the middle, True, and now Kolazar, who wanted to get it deep, unable to. Here's Smith. Stick Knocked at. Now it is turned over by Duke. Bear to the line, not out. Clegg able to get there in time. 8 seconds to go. Wheaton from a sharp angle. Are you kidding me? One last crack left for the third straight time in this Western Hockey League Championship Series. 60 minutes will not decide it again. And as was the case in games 1 and 2 in Brandon, Bill, what's the score?
Yeah, we're tied at 2, but I'll tell you, this is a big, big save that Jordan Paperny makes to keep it a 2-2 game. They get the puck face to face. Bear with a great shot. He's got good position. Look at this. Does that puck just hit the knob of his stick or his shoulder? Can't tell from there, but look where he is. He's at the top of the paint. He's at a spot that if that puck misses him, it's not going in the net. But boy, Ethan Bear is exactly the defenseman you want having that shot that late. Wow. Stu, what do you got for us?
Yeah, thanks very much, Bill, with Thunderbirds assistant coach Matt Audette. And Matt, why are you not surprised we're going to overtime for a third straight game?
Well, it's two good teams going at it. We'd like to hold on to the lead a little better here. It's deja vu again. We just got to regroup and get ready for overtime.
How does this atmosphere help your team?
Well, it gives us energy. We've been good here all year. Our fans have been great. Gives us a boost, and we're going to need it in overtime.
23 shots so far. Barzell's been robbed a couple times. How do you get more chances against Paperny?
We got to stick with it. Get second and third opportunities. We haven't been able to get that valuable third goal. We need to come up with it tonight and stay in this series.
Matt, thanks so much for your time.
No problem.
All right, Andy Neal, let's head over to you.
All right, thanks very much, Stu. John Quenneville has 2 tonight, and here we go again. Overtime for the third straight game of the WHL Championship Series. Another 2-2 tie through regulation. And from the ShoWare Center in Kent, Washington, OT bound here on Levitt Machinery, WHL on Shaw.
The Saskatchewan Indian Gaming Authority operates 6 First Nations casinos in Saskatchewan. For more information, visit siga.sk.ca.
Hey, Tyler, what's up? You need to talk?
Yeah, I really do.
Well, come on in. What's going on?
I think WHL is the best way to achieve your goal, and that's playing the NHL, and it is the top league in the world, and you get to play against the best players for your age group and really develop into a man and a player quicker than most kids do. For me, I chose WHL, which was the best decision I could have made.
Distance gained. No walls to separate us and our home. Drawn deeper by the presence of no one and the essence of everything. Mother Nature's timeless masterpieces, stretching past the sky and the edge of the world, calling us to explore supernatural British Columbia.
Sold out ShoWare Center in Kent, and are they ever getting their money's worth tonight in Game 3 of this WHL Championship Series? We're here at Bobdale Gloves WHL Central alongside Kevin Sawyer, third straight game, and we were looking back in Game 2 when the last time a championship had gone to overtime in the first 2 games of the series. We don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's safe to say this is the first time it's gone to overtime in the first 3 games of the championship, but another doozy this evening. But Seattle, you got to wonder about the chances that they have had to put Brandon away when they were up 2-1 in the second period, even late in the first and then in the third before John Quenneville scored. How much they're thinking about that and those opportunities to get a multi-goal lead tonight.
Well, those are tough things to bounce back from. And you look at the way Leth has great speed, and we featured him in the first intermission. He goes down and rings one off with a crossbar, and geez, it's a minute and a half later when Quenneville comes back to tie the game up. So that's such a momentum swing that's hard to recover from, but Seattle did a good job. And then, like you said, that chance from Bear at the end, he put that shot, he put all 200 pounds behind that. He put that in the top left corner where he wanted to, but like we've seen throughout this game tonight, Paperny, Bo coming up with big saves. That was another huge save for Paperny to keep Brandon in this, and wow, I guess we shouldn't be that surprised it's going to OT for the third time the way goaltenders have been playing.
You know, we're looking pretty much at that same angle that Ethan Bear had on that late chance, and I was wondering, what does he have to shoot at? Because it seemed like Jordan was coming out of his crease. And is that a sign of confidence from a goaltender when it seemed like he was out as far as he was?
Great point. You're absolutely right. Perperny came right out, and we had the perfect angle to see that, where there was very little net to shoot at for Bear. I thought Bear was looking to go over his right shoulder, right by his head. He was looking to zing it by his ear, and he put it right where he wanted. We're going to get a look at this as he steps into this in top left corner. Look at that. He just nicks it off that shoulder of Perperny. Man, oh man, I'm not sure that there's any net to shoot at. Bear put it right where he wanted, but great positioning by Perperny for sure.
Yeah, right on the lip of the crease on that chance for Ethan Bear. Ryan Gropp had a chance 15 seconds into the third period as well. But John Quenneville with his second. He hadn't scored in the first 2 games of this championship series. And remember, he had a 5-game goal streak going into the championship against Seattle, but he comes through with 2 tonight. And what a setup from Tim McGauley as well on the equalizer in the third.
How good has McGauley been down low? I was saying to you before we went on, where McGauley hasn't necessarily done a bunch of flashy things, but a lot of little details where he's on the boards, winning battles, protecting the puck, and on that game-tying goal, McGauley gets it behind the net. Look at him protect it, throws it out. Great wherewithal to know that Quenneville is there. It's a perfect pass, and Quenneville, what to say about him? He just knows where to be at the right time, and that's one thing about Brandon, is if you lose a step on them defensively, it almost always turns into a scoring chance against us because they're so well coached and they all know where to be at the right time, and that's a proof of it right there with that evening goal.
You know, you were saying to me during the third period about how difficult it is for Seattle to get to the middle of the ice in the offensive zone. Is this in any way what Kelowna was doing to Brandon last year? Are there similarities to that? Because we all knew what Brandon could do offensively last year, and they had a tough time breaking through against the Rockets.
It's a sign of great coaching. I think that's a fair statement, where we saw last year in Kelowna with Dan Lambert. Kelowna is a team that used to really defend as a group of 5, and we could pick out a whole lot of examples from Brandon here tonight where, you know, Seattle has clear puck possession in the offensive zone, but Brandon is just all 5 guys below the tops of the circles. Their sticks are in the lane, stick on puck, and there's just nothing to put the puck to, and because of that, you get the sense that, you know, Seattle's got to get a little bit of luck because they're not going to get easy chances or a whole lot of time from the middle of the ice to get the puck on the net.
And we're going to look at the Wheat Kings players who have stepped up in a big way in tonight's game when they've needed them. Here's what they've done. John Quenneville with the 2 goals. Tim McGauley has 2 assists tonight. And Jordan Perperny right now with 21 saves in the game.
Well, and you look at the best players being your best players. How often is that said? It's an overused statement, but it's necessary in the playoffs. And for me, it's Perperny above everybody else, where he had to make some timely saves to keep this a 2-goal hockey game, and he was excellent. Again, Quenneville, he leads the league in the playoffs now with 15 goals, and he has been outstanding. So they're getting the right guys to produce.
Special teams early on seemed like it was very much in Seattle's favor. 2 power play goals in the first period. They were able to break through on Brandon, but it was Brandon's penalty kill, don't forget, in the third period, they came up with a big kill of their own.
Specialty teams has been huge, and you're right, Brandon kills a huge penalty off in that third period, and it's because of the details where they've got guys in lanes blocking shots. And this isn't a bashful team when they're down a man, where they're a team that's a threat offensively as well. So they've got guys jumping on loose pucks, and they just seem to have that little half of a step extra 5-on-5 on the power play and on the penalty kill. So they've been great.
Matt Barzal, he's been a real joy to watch tonight. In the third period, he got rolling from his own zone, took a nifty give-and-go pass at the line. How good has he been this evening for Seattle? Looks like he's really got his A game tonight.
Well, he's hard to narrow down how many highlight clips you want to show of the guy, because he is absolutely amazing with the puck. The best player in the league, in my mind, bar none, when the puck is on his stick. So creative. He just backs other players off, and he creates so much. What a great pass on the entry to Bear. We saw that shot that goes off of Perperny's shoulder, but Barzal away from the puck, with the puck. He has really turned into a 200-foot player in his offense. Well, it speaks for itself.
Well, this is overtime number 11 in the 2016 WHL playoffs. Here's a look back at the first 10 OT winners of the postseason.
Schumacher into the zone, left wing with Leffen through. Looking to drive the net, threw it on goal, knocked down in front, True backhanded tip, knocked off his stick. Has it near circle, skates and fires his shot on goal. He scores! And the T-Birds win it in overtime. Midpoint, winds and fires over top of the net. Rebound off the wall. Walker out in front. They score! Alex Forsberg, the overtime hero. Keeps on his stick, goes point to Smith. Fires a shot on net, blocked in front. Rebound, look shot, gone! There it is! Nolan Volkin, his second of the night. The T-Birds are on their way to round 2.
Susto back in for the trailer. Ballhorn. Here's the shots in. Thomas Susto has buried the Blazers, and the Rockets are headed to Victoria. Can't get a shot away. Sitting free, the right dot now. Turcotte, score! They did it! The Rockets have won! The Rockets have won! Can you believe it? The Empire strikes back!
He grabs it for the Wheat Kings and played it back down deep. Duke centering pass. Quinville shot! Rod Quinville, the overtime winner here at the 2:53 mark.
Drop the center ice, feeds it. Here come the T-Birds onside. Wedman tries. Wedman back hit shot, and he will score! The youngster, Matthew Wedman, has sent the T-Birds to the Western Hockey League Finals for the first time since 1997. The Thunderbirds are your Western Conference champions. Woo-hoo!
Seattle line here. Into the zone it comes for the slot. Got a shot away over top of that. Out in front. Tanner Catholic knocks it in as it came off the end glass and out in front. And he's batted it home past Landon Bow. Tanner Catholic, the overtime winner here in game number 1 of this WHL Championship Series.
Coulter shovels it in. Howerluck, he scores! Jace Howerluck in overtime, and the Wheat Kings will head to Washington with a 2-0 lead.
Well, we saw Brandon's top performers tonight. Here's a look at Seattle's top performers. Matt Barzal, 2 assists. Keegan Golazar with a goal and an assist. And 30 saves from Landon Bow.
Well, we talk about Perperny, and Bow has been all of that and maybe then some. He's got 30 saves on the night, and really I thought in the second period, if it wasn't for him, the game could have been out of hand. So, again, the best players, Barzal. The big story for me is Golazar, where I think they really needed a lot more from him coming into tonight's game. The 2 points, goal, and an assist. So that's great news for Seattle, and yeah, a lot of key guys for them going as well.
I wonder mentally, is there a disadvantage for Seattle given how the last 2 games have ended in overtime and the awful breaks that they've gotten in game 1 and in game 2? Do you think that that's coming into their mind at all? Wondering how this one could play out considering what happened in the first 2 games.
It's in the back of their mind for sure, and I wouldn't be surprised if Steve Colin-Walchuk is just kind of, hey boys, let's just forget everything. We've got an opportunity to redeem ourselves, but absolutely the heartbreak twice in Brandon, so will that play a factor here? You got to wonder for sure.
All right, who are you picking to score the winner tonight for both sides?
Well, for me, I'm going to pick Tim McGauley for Brandon. I think that he's done so many little details right that I think in a lot of ways he's earned the chance to get a big goal. He's done so many things, and for me, Enzor is a guy that's had the puck an awful lot. He's gone to the middle of the ice with intention. I think that he is a guy that could be in the right place at the right time for Seattle.
Kevin Leffens has been skating well this evening. He's my pick for Seattle, and Ivan Provorov has really jumped up tonight. He's had a couple of golden chances, so he's my choice for the Brandon Wheat Kings. But we'll find out shortly here in overtime number 1. We haven't yet seen a double overtime in this series, but the way this series has gone, who knows what we'll have in store for game 3 and extra time. Over we go now to the broadcast booth, and the men getting set to call it. Peter Labardius and Bill Wilms. Gents.
Well, Bill, if nothing else, we're used to being in this spot, and so are the teams. As a matter of fact, Seattle, you go back to their double overtime victory against Kelowna in Game 4 to close out the Western Conference Championship. This will mark game number 4 in a row that they've been to overtime, period. So here's what I'm thinking about between periods. They had so many chances to make it 3-1.
Well, it started too with a couple chances by Brandon. There's a mishandle, and Campbell's going to throw through the paint, goes off, Barzell's skate. That close, Kevin Leth comes the other way, shot off the crossbar. Well, there's a goal now that ties it at 2. You get 4 Wheat Kings in the offensive zone. That's a good pinch to keep it alive. Now, you're going to watch the 1-2-3 Seattle Thunderbirds. They forget about McGauley there. That's mistake number 1. And they forget about Quenville in front of the net. And that's just a perfect play through the 5-hole. How good a pass is this from McGauley? Landon Bolt can't figure out how his defenseman didn't see it. He looks up and he says, how did you not see that? Now, it's tied at 2. Look at the pressure that Brandon puts on. You know that they think they're in a position that they can get the 3-2 goal. But when it all comes down to what's said and done, it's some big saves by Paperny late, none bigger than this. That's off the knob of the stick. That keeps it 2-2. That's, folks, why we're going in overtime. Here it is again, knob of the stick. Look where Paperny is. Boy, good pressure late in the period. Good save by Paperny late in the period.
Quenville, second of the night, tied it at 8:38, his 15th, as you see, to lead everyone in goals in the playoffs. And for a third straight game in this championship series, we're 2-2, headed to overtime. But the pressure squarely on this team, Seattle, because they trail the series 2-0 as you look at Ryan Grott, our fabulous executive producer of the Western Hockey League on Shaw, Grant Wilkins, informs me the last time a Western Hockey League playoff series required 3 straight overtime games goes back to 2004 when Everett and Kelowna in the Western Conference Championship set went to overtime in games 5, 6, and 7, won by a first-year Everett team to advance to the final before they lost to Medicine Hat. It was the year that Kelowna hosted the Memorial Cup and won it.
Peter, and I agree with our Kevin Sawyer in between periods. I got to believe that Seattle Thunderbirds got to be thinking a little bit, you know what? I mean, we've been in this situation twice against this Brandon team, and it hasn't gone well. It's gotten kind of fluky. Now, how do you overcome that? Is that in the back of your minds? I think it is. I think it's a question of, can't let that happen. Now, how do you counter a bad bounce like we've seen twice? Well, probably the best way, and I'm sure Coach K, he's talked about it, let's go to work and get it done in the offensive zone. Probably what he's told his guys.
Well, they need to get more pucks on net. Both those overtimes in games 1 and 2 in Brandon combined. 2 total shots, not 2 in each game. 2, they didn't even have a shot. We're outshot 10-0 before Kaspick scored the OT winner in game 1. And at 2 in game 2, as Brock enters the zone, slides it just out of the reach of Drew, who attempts to track it down out there with left, comes to Groff, and he'll tap it in behind the net. The Wheat Kings can take a huge advantage. Seattle with a goal gets themselves right back in it with game 4 set for tomorrow right here at 7 Pacific. We'll have it all for you. Niles, blocked up by Clegg. Answer a backhand try. Ott Bright, wrist shot, and just missed. Turner, Ott Bright, known for his physical play, nearly ends it less than a minute into the extra frame. Bear to Niles, who scored in both games of this series heading into this evening, and Paperny hangs on his answer with a little bit of a snow shower that Cale Clegg did not appreciate.
Last time this crowd in this building saw an overtime game, it was a double overtime game. It was against the Kelowna Rockets, and they were banging on that glass like they are there for 78 shots on net by the Seattle Thunderbird team. Finally, they end up scoring the double overtime winning goal by Matthew Wedman, the 16-year-old.
At 7:52 of double overtime. That's about the only thing we haven't had in this series yet. Hauerluck, Urkamps going to the net. Hauerluck, big rebound, kicked out, but answer was there. Returning is Urkamps. Leaves it for Hauerluck. The Game 2 overtime hero. And Hoff. Rink wide denials, and now Enser working against Provorov. Can he cut in on him? No, he can't. Loose in the slot, and there's Provorov again. And Conley Cooley move it to Hauerluck. Coulter's got some space here. Coulter! Bow just got enough. Quality chance for Tyler Coulter, who has 5 goals in these playoffs, including a big equalizer in the third period of Game 2. Barzal to the line. Knocked out of midair by Wheaton. And now Clegg, his partner. Tip to the line, no farther. Kaspick keeps it in. Campbell behind his back now. With Mateos and Kaspick. Kaspick in the corner, watched closely by Matthew Barzal, who has 2 assists in the game. Barzal wins that battle, but Campbell keeps it in. These are the kind of shifts that are really tough, and the long change again in this fourth period. Otbright, Mateos looks at Clegg, elects to hang on his shot, tipped in front. Goes into the corner, and Otbright just wants to relieve the pressure, and does so without taking an icing. That's really important. Tough change with the long one. Duke into the slot, wrist shot, he scores! Reed Duke, 2:59 into the extra frame, and the Brandon Wheat Kings do it again in overtime.
Coach Konowalchuk cannot believe it. This comes right after that very long shift that group, the Barzal line, was absolutely gassed. And you called it, Ottenbright tried to get off the ice. They couldn't ice it. They had to get some kind of a line change if they possibly could. And what this Brandon team does so well, Peter, is they stretch the ice. They move that puck up in a hurry. Earlier, we saw it with Provorov. This time they get it up to Reed Duke. And Reed Duke is so good at delaying, waits for the sliding player to get out of the way. I mean, look at the entire Seattle team wants to get off the ice, every one of them. And a nice stretch pass. Now you got some new people on the ice, and Duke perfectly times it. Wonderful job. Toe drag, wait, and then go glove side or blocker side. That's a tough one to save. Wow, he's got a lot of time to pick its spot. Not only that, Pete, he's got guys crashing that net in case there was some kind of a rebound. But that's Brandon at their best. They go on the attack quickly. They get it done, and you can't be a happier club skating off the ice. They now have a 3-0 series lead, all 3 games in overtime.
The 6th-round pick of the Minnesota Wild in 2014, the native of Calgary, has the Brandon Wheat Kings 1 win away from their 3rd ever Western Hockey League championship. We'll be back with our post-game activities and analysis after this. They're delighted, the Wheat Kings. So close to winning it all. They win tonight again, 3-2. Back with more.
The Saskatchewan Indian Gaming Authority operates 6 First Nations casinos in Saskatchewan. For more information, visit siga.sk.ca.
Hey, Tyler, what's up? You need to talk?
Yeah, I really do.
Well, come on in. What's going on?
I think WHL is the best way to achieve your goal, and that's playing the NHL, and it is the top league in the world, and you get to play against the best players for your age group and really develop into a man and a player quicker than most kids do. For me, I chose WHL, which was the best decision I could have made.
Distance gained. No walls to separate us and our home. Drawn deeper by the presence of no one and the essence of everything. Mother Nature's timeless masterpieces stretching past the sky and the edge of the world, calling us to explore supernatural British Columbia.
Well, there's a look at Matthew Barzal of the Seattle Thunderbirds. Got to be wondering, what is it going to take to get a win in this championship series? Seattle for the third consecutive game, a 2-1 third period lead in this championship against the Brandon Wheat Kings, and for the third consecutive game, Brandon ties it, and then Brandon wins it to take a commanding 3-0 series lead in this championship. The Wheat Kings one win away from punching a ticket to Red Deer and the MasterCard Memorial Cup. Reed Duke is the hero tonight for the Wheat Kings. Let's go downstairs to Stu Walters. Stu?
Yes, thanks very much, Andy, with the overtime hero, Reed Duke, with the Brandon Wheat Kings, of course, in the 3-2 lead and win. Take a stranglehold, as you mentioned, 3-0 lead here in Seattle. And Reed, were you not surprised that it did go to overtime for a third straight game?
No, not at all. They're a hard team to play against. They're a team that we just have to wear down, and I think we got some good momentum in the third, leading into the overtime there.
All right, well, you got the goal on the fresh ice. Can you take us through it? We do have it queued up here.
I just remember I think we had them out for quite a long shift there, and we just wanted to get the puck turned up quickly. Mitch Wheaton made a great pass up to me. I saw maybe I had a 2-on-1 developing there, but I decided to drag it, and I hadn't been shooting all night, so I figured might as well try, and I picked the left side there.
What did you think about your team resilience here after getting 2 power play goals scored against in that second period, or in that first period?
Yeah, that's been us all series. And I even think that our third games in these playoffs haven't been our best, so we made it a priority for us to come up with a big win here. And this game was just as big as it was for us as it was for them. So it was very important for us to get that going. And it's just an exciting game.
You had to fight back from some adversity. Was discipline talked about in the room?
Yeah, exactly. These refs have been pretty stiff all series. So we just wanted to keep our hands down, keep our sticks down. They were good on the special teams, and that's one of their strengths. So we tried to stay out of the box, but at the end of the day, it's just exciting to push it overtime and get the win.
What can you say about the play of your goaltender, Jordan Perperny? Rob Barzal a couple times tonight.
He's been our star all playoffs. He's our team's got so much confidence in him. If we have a breakdown, we know that he's going to come up huge for us, and he did again tonight. So I can't thank that guy enough.
And I'll also ask you about teammate and veteran assistant captain there, John Quenville, with his 2-goal effort.
He's been great as well. Our line struggled early on in the game, and we got it going in the third. Our team was leaning on us, looking for us to come up big, and playing with Timmy and John, they made it really easy for me as well, and they're great players to play with.
Reed, thanks for your time tonight.
Thanks a lot, appreciate it.
All right, Andy Neal, let's head up to you. Reed Duke, the overtime hero, with his 8th of the playoffs.
All right, thanks very much, Stu. Big thanks to Reed for joining us as well as he heads off towards the Brandon Wheat Kings dressing room. 3-0 now, series lead. We're here at Bobdale Gloves WHL Central alongside Kevin Sawyer. What'd you see on the winning goal tonight?
Well, I saw a real good player make a real good shot. Brandon stretches the puck like we heard Bill Wilms say, and they fortunately caught Seattle tired. You saw Ottenbright slide across your screen, and smartly Reed Duke holds the puck, and this is just a skilled player's play here. Or look at they stretch. They know they're changing their lines. Ottenbright dives. Look at the patience, the toe drag by Reed Duke, and that's what it took to beat Landon Boas. Put it in off of the post and in, and it's a perfectly placed shot. And you had to wonder when Reed Duke was going to strike. He had a bit of a quiet night on his standards. He gets his 8th of the playoffs. He's a guy that scored 33 times in the regular season, but what a shot, and what a huge goal for him and his team.
And, in Game 2, it was the line of Nolan Patrick, Tyler Coulter, and Jace Howrelick that did all the offense. Now that line does all the offense. I mean, it just seems like there's no end as far as what can come at you from the Brandon Wheat Kings, and we saw that again this evening.
Well, that's why they're up 3-0 in this series. This is a team that is as deep of a team that I've seen in this league, and that says a lot. There's been a lot of them, but right from the top, right down to their 4th line and their defensive core, I mean, they've got guys that can defend. The guys got guys like Erkamps who can add offense and play physical and defensively structured. A great goaltender, on. And I mean, what do you say about their offense on their top 3 lines? So, they've got line 1 and 1A, and that third line isn't too bad either. So, so many weapons, and perhaps fitting that they're up 3-0.
We saw the look of Matthew Barzal coming out of the break after the overtime goal. I mean, words that say 1,000 words, a picture that says 1,000 words there. I mean, you got to be wondering, what are they thinking? 2-1 again going into the third period, and a Seattle team that's built for defending leads in the third period with the size, the goaltending now, and yet they can't hold on to it. I mean, it's got to be a real dejecting feeling for them.
No question about it. That's tough to lose 3 in overtime, and yet it's not because they're not playing well. I mean, they've got a good team, and the core of their team in a lot of ways is the way their defense plays. Up to this series, they've really held the shots off the shot clock and made things somewhat easy for Landon Bow at times, and they haven't been able to find the key to do that with Brandon. And again, it's back to the Brandon forwards where they're just so blessed and they come at you with speed and in waves and really tough to defend. And that look on Barzal's face did say it all. They've played good hockey, but just it's going to take excellent hockey and then maybe a little bit of luck to beat this team in Brandon.
Well, let's get a look at the Tony Roma's 3 stars from tonight's 3-2 victory for the Brandon Wheat Kings over the Seattle Thunderbirds to take a 3-0 stranglehold in the championship. Reed Duke, the number 1 star, is scored the overtime winner. John Quenneville with 2 goals tonight. He's up to 15 now in the postseason. And Keegan Kolazar with a goal and an assist for the T-Birds. He is the 3rd star. But Seattle now facing elimination for the first time in the postseason as Reed Duke gets the winner with his 8th of the postseason here on Levy Machinery, WHL on Shaw.
Hi, we're the owners of Arbutus RV.
And we support local community television. Arbutus RV services Vancouver Island with 5 island locations in Sydney, Mill Bay, Nanaimo, Port Alberni, and Courtenay. And online at arbutusrv.ca.
I want you to stay in my life, in my life.
Every year, when you support Full House Lottery, you support the lives of 1.1 million patients and their loved ones. Your ticket brings world-class care to the Royal Alexandra and University of Alberta hospitals. And that makes every Albertan a winner. Thank you from Full House Lottery.
The arena has cleared out here at the Showware Center in Kent, Washington. Sold out this evening, but the Brandon Wheat Kings on the road get the victory. They end the 4-game home win streak for Seattle going into tonight, a 3-2 overtime decision. The scores remain the same, games 1, 2, and 3. Brandon with a 3-2 overtime decision. Reed Duke was the hero tonight, and we're waiting to hear from the Wheat Kings in their post-game conference. But Steve Konowalchuk, he was optimistic after Game 2. You got to wonder what he's thinking going into Game 4 tomorrow with his team facing elimination for the first time in the series.
Well, it's going to be a game or shift by shift, and obviously a 1-game-at-a-time situation. Their backs up are against the wall, but to me, Konowalchuk has got that demeanor with his group. He's a player's coach, and I think that he has got a great relationship and a great connection with his group. We saw him today in pregame skate. He stayed out there for, an hour and 15 minutes, and he went through the conditioning skate with the guys that weren't playing, and you can see his interaction with his guys. They like him. And I think that's going to go a long way. So, whatever he's selling in that locker room, they're buying it. And I think that he's got a great channel to get these guys to believe in just the process and believe that they still have a chance against a great Brandon team. And can't say enough about his coaching, and that he's got his group behind him.
We've talked about on Seattle's defense, Ethan Bear has been so strong, scored again in Game 2. Jarrett Smith we heard from, and the story with him with the appendicitis, and be able to come back as quickly as he has. But another member of that Seattle defense is Turner Ottenbright, a guy with size who's had a couple of scoring chances in the last couple of games.
He certainly has. We saw in Game 2 where he had that wide open net. Barzal makes the between-the-legs play, and Paperny ends up outside of his net. Ottenbright shoots and just misses inches wide. And tonight again, he had a chance in overtime and wasn't able to convert. But a 12th round pick from Saskatoon, he gets traded last year, and he's been a real effective guy. He's known for his physicality, and boy, has he ever stepped that up. But defensively, he is just so hard to beat, and a little bit of offense here and there, but they've got to be very, very happy with their return with him and what he's brought to this team.
You know, this series features a couple of former first overall Bantam picks, Matthew Barzal in 2012, and then 2 years later, Stelio Matthias for the Brandon Wheat Kings. That was originally Saskatoon's pick, but Brandon was able to get that first overall selection. 6 points coming into tonight in 18 playoff games. What have you thought of the first overall pick? And we were laughing a little bit when Peter Lubardi was talking about his parents called the travel agent because of the Ivan Link guy. What do you thought of him?
Then Pete Lubardius would know for sure, but unbelievable. First overall pick, and what experience this guy's getting to have as a 16-year-old. He's in a culture that's going to make him so much better. He's on their fourth line, and this is a guy that would normally be on third or second line on a lot of other teams, but that's how deep Brandon is. But a skilled guy that's got size and only to get better and better. Adds so much depth. Offensively, he's got a touch, no doubt about that, but defensively, we've seen examples of him grinding it out on the boards. So a first overall pick, he's got everything you'd expect a first overall pick to have.
You know, last year there were some key injuries going into the championship series. In this series, how great it's been nice to be able to feature, for the most part, two healthy teams. That's been great to see that they've been able to stay healthy throughout, and we're seeing, and perhaps that's why these games have been so close, because both teams are at full strength.
Nice to see it, absolutely. When it comes down to the crunch, you want to see both teams at their best, and we are. I really think that we are. Seattle's been good. Brandon has been excellent, just like we expected them to see. And you want to see the best players on the ice healthy. And you talked about Jarrett Smith, where he had that appendicitis. That is an amazing story. He has his appendix taken out on a Wednesday, and he plays over 20 minutes on a Sunday in Game 2 against Everett. So this is a resilient group in Seattle, and Brandon as well. They both play hard. They're physical teams, but it says a lot about their conditioning and that they're healthy.
You know, Peter and I touched on it in a preview that we did earlier today about Brandon's experience and coming from behind. This is 8 straight games where they've trailed at one point. They gave up the first goal in 5 of 6 going into this evening until John Quenville scored to open the scoring tonight. But experience, I mean, how big is that for a team that now clearly knows what they have to do and what they're doing when they're coming from behind?
Well, no panic. I mean, this is a team that really got picked apart in a lot of ways in the league final last year against Kelowna, but they've got a belief system, and you got to look to their coach in Kelly McCrimmon too, where he's got buy-in and belief in his group. Where they get down, that's not necessarily their game plan, but when they do, they don't panic, and that's a sign of maturity and good coaching, and they've been behind probably far too much for their liking, but it hasn't seemed to faze them. And it's that being battle tested in the playoffs from last year does wonders and really shows here this year.
What about for Seattle? Are they due? Is it safe to say that they're due to win? Because considering how much of a roll they were on, they were 12-1 in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. But this is the first time they've lost 3 in a row in 3 months, going back to early February as well.
Well, you had to wonder. I mean, this is the best team that they've seen for sure, obviously, in the playoffs. But are they due? Yeah. Were they due in Game 2? Yeah, and Game 1 as well. So they haven't had very much luck, that's for sure. And you see tonight, Leth again, like he rings it off the crossbar to go up 3-1, and less than a minute later, it's 2-2. John Quenville shoots from in tight to score to tie the game. Pardon me, at 2-2. So it's a bizarre series where it could easily be 2 or 3-0 Seattle with a little bit of luck. So are they due? Yes, and yet it's going to take a very special effort from Seattle in Game 4.
You know, Reed Duke mentioned it. Game 3's getting over that hump for Brandon, considering they lost 7-3 to Moose Jaw in round 2 in that third game in Moose Jaw, 6-2 to Red Deer in round 3 in the conference championship. And for them to be, I mean, they changed things up. They didn't have the game day skating. As I'm sure people think it's ridiculous to change, considering how that was considered good luck or bad luck for Brandon. Here they get the win. And, I mean, how big is that for them to be able to get over that hurdle?
It's huge, and hockey players they're superstitious beings, no doubt, to say the least. But you look at Paperny's performance, and let's go back to last series against Red Deer in Game 3. He allowed 4 goals and 7 shots, and he was out. And you talked about the Game 3 against Moose Jaw, and this is a team that is capable of doing great things, and yet they've shown, you know, we talk about the 10-0 loss in Red Deer in January. They're a team that's capable of slipping as well. Well, they've really proven to themselves, more important than anybody else, that they're maturing as this process goes along. And Paperny, more than anybody, he needed to be good tonight. Their Game 3 curse, and he was fantastic, and it's a huge vote of confidence for him and his teammates.
Think about for Seattle, they're facing elimination. I mean, what goes through a player's mind when you wake up the morning of a game where it could be it?
Well, it's a tough thing to get over, and they'll take some time tonight to regroup, no doubt. And the task is to mentally put your mindset into a shift-by-shift process, and they're just going to have to look at this like they've got nothing to lose. They don't want this season to end, and that's what Coach Konowalchuk will do. Is he'll get them to focus on the details. He'll regroup. They'll have to come in tomorrow, and they'll need to leave their morning meeting or morning skate or whatever they do feeling good about themselves. And to me, there's a lot of evidence in video that he'll be able to choose from tonight to achieve that. So it's a tough thing to overcome, but they've got a great crowd. How great was the energy in this building tonight? And no doubt they'll use their fans to get behind them tomorrow.
Well, the Brandon Wheat Kings are making their way to the podium now for their post-game media conference. Let's send it down to there now and get their reaction from another overtime win tonight.
Coach General Manager Kelly McCrimmon, and on your right you have John Quenville. Kelly, start with you. Steer another dramatic finish. Your thoughts on the game tonight?
Well, I didn't think that we were at the level that we wanted to be maybe in the first and the second. I thought the third was our best, and we got the goal. I thought we had a penalty kill that gave us some momentum in the third period, and I thought it was our best period of the three by far. I thought tonight, and was what got us back into the game.
Reed, just that goal in overtime. You walk through how that play developed.
Yeah, I remember we caught those guys out for a longer shift. They needed to get off, and we just made a great play to get it right up. And I saw maybe we had a 3-on-2 or a 2-on-1 developing, but their D-man slid early, and I just decided to drag it and saw the left side there.
John, another trailing in the third period comeback for you guys. What is it about this group that's allowed you to be so resilient?
I think the key for us is just being able to stick in games when we feel we're not playing our best. We've done a great job of sticking around regardless of if we're we don't have the momentum or we're taking penalties or whatever. We've done a great job just sticking in the game and weathering the storm a bit. I think till we kind of get our momentum back and start playing the way we want to play, and it's boded well for us.
Reed, tell me about the Game 3 thing. Obviously, it was weighing on you guys' minds a little bit. That'd be a nice thing for you to overcome after the losses in Red Deer and Moose Jaw.
Yeah, exactly. That was a big priority for us. They haven't really gone our way. Us getting momentum going into the third. We earlier in the playoffs, we kind of take a step back and we start off a bit slow. I thought, especially our line, but in the third we got some good momentum leading into overtime, and as soon as we tied it up, we knew that we had a good chance of winning this game again.
John, tell me about the 5-on-5 play tonight.
I thought we owned it. I thought we did a really good job. I managed to, get pucks deep in the important times. I thought we didn't do a great job of it early, and then, once again, the third period comes around, and it's really time to, play the way we need to play in order to give ourselves the best chance to win. And I thought when it came down to it, we were really solid. And I think we got a lot more to give, but at the same time, and it's great to win.
And Kelly, you guys have come back 3 times now in the third period of the series. How much do you think the experience of your club plays into that, just being resilient?
Well, I think it's a good question, and I think that it seems that it's making a difference. I think that our guys know what to expect. Each time we're in a playoff game now, because the core of our team's played quite a few playoff games. But I think it's more than that. I think that. I mentioned it back in Brandon. I think guys believe if they keep playing the right way that we can stay in the game, that we still got a chance. And then I thought, elevating our play in the third. I think once we started to do that, you could feel it on the bench that the guys could feel it coming. And that was I think where experience, confidence, that type of thing I think does play a part in that situation.
And 5-on-5, you guys have done a pretty good job of controlling or containing Barzal's line. What's been the key there?
Well, they're going to get some chances, right? And he has. We've been fortunate through 3 games. I think we've given up 1 5-on-5 goal against this team, and we try to get our matchups, particularly on the back end. Up front, Barzal has played shifts against McGauley's line, Patrick's line, Kaspik's line. So I think that that's been spread out through the 3 games. But just I think an awareness. It's interesting. One of the teams we played during the playoffs in our second round was Moose Jaw Warriors, who have got Braden Point on their team, and he's the equivalent in our conference of what Matt Barzal is in this conference. So we had a lot of experience playing him in regular season, of course, over his time there. And then in our series against Moose Jaw, that was a real priority for us, along with Dryden Hunt, who played left side with him, to try and do a good job. And we said at the time, we won't see a better line than Dryden Hunt, Matt Barzal, and Noah Gregor, and yet certainly Barzal's unit is right there with him.
And Kelly, you talk a little bit about the 5-on-5. Can you also talk about the special teams battle, particularly tonight, and how you guys thought you did there?
Well, I think special teams have hurt us through the series, and it was close to being the tail of the tape tonight. We gave up 2 power play goals in the first period, which also we went from leading to trailing to not having momentum. And then I think our power play wasn't, responding at all in terms of gaining us any momentum back. So it was, kind of the both extremes on our both special teams weren't at the level that we need them to be. And fortunately, as we just have touched on, our 5-on-5 play carried the day for us. And I would, again, I mentioned it earlier, the penalty kill in the third period when you're in a tie game. I think that was pretty important for our team. I give our penalty kill credit for that.
And John, in both your 5-on-5 goals, it seems like you guys created a lot of space, and you in particular had a lot of space. Can you talk about kind of your guys' cycle and how you managed to find yourself that open in front of the net?
Yeah, on both plays, we did exactly what we want to do as a team. We want to get in the offensive zone. We want to establish the zone, and and try and wear their guys down. Luckily, both times I found quiet ice and kind of made myself, unavailable for a second until, our guys made a couple good plays, and then, I fortunately put a couple in net.
John, do you relish the role of being a leader, being relied upon, especially in a hostile atmosphere here on the road? What does it mean to you to step up in a big game like this?
It means everything for me. I mean, this is, this team is, my life right now, and we have one goal, and that's to win. And whatever I can do to help this team win is obviously going to be great. But I think it's been a absolutely great team effort so far, and obviously playing in tight games isn't easy. But our guys have been really mentally tough as well as played well on the ice, and it's paid off obviously.
And Kelly, it was quite an extreme that you get the 2 power play goals in quick succession. Were you impressed that there wasn't maybe too much of a deflation on the bench, or what did you feel from your team at that point in their character?
Yeah, and it ties in with the question that I was asked previously. I didn't think it affected us. I think it gave them some momentum, and I thought that we went from leading to trailing, which we weren't happy about, but. Early enough in the game, I don't think that it was, an issue for us in terms of deflating us or discouraging us in any way.
Good. Kelly, you switched up the routine today a little bit with no game day skate. Will you think about that maybe going forward, or was that maybe today just a one-off? Or
Well, it was something that the players brought to us, and traditionally when we play back-to-back games, we don't skate on the second day. We just stay at the hotel. Guys go for a walk, and they wanted to do it that way today just to sort of try to break the routine a little bit. As you know, Game 3s haven't been real kind to us, not just this year, but also going back to last year as well. So, obviously there's a lot more to it than that, but I think it just was part of the process for the players, trying to make sure that we're going to give ourselves a chance to get it right in this Game 3 of the series.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that's the end of the Brandon Wheat Kings. We heard from John Quenneville with 2 tonight. Reed Duke, the overtime hero, and from head coach and general manager Kelly McCrimmon. And what did you take from what they were saying tonight after the win again, 3-2 in overtime?
Well, only giving up one 5-on-5 goal is an amazing thing, and that says a lot. And you have to be able to generate offense, obviously, on specialty teams, but 5-on-5 as well. And that is just a testament to how Brandon defends, and you have to be able to defend well to win in the postseason, and that says it all. One 5-on-5 goal against They're up 3-0 for that reason in my mind.
And interesting hearing him talking about Braden Point. They've already faced one of the top players in the WHL. How valuable was that? Then clearly it shows for Brandon what they were saying after the win tonight.
Well, it tests their defense and their team defense. They've been up against the most potent offensive players from the eastern side, and then they obviously succeeded. So I think that's just more battle testing, putting them through the trenches, and they succeeded. And that does nothing but give them confidence, and I think it prepared them for that Barzell kind of matchup where they've been containing him fairly well.
Well, Brandon has not won the WHL championship since 1996. They are one win away from pulling it off here in Seattle with a victory tonight in a 3-0 series lead, and Seattle now getting set for their post-game media conference here tonight at the ShoWare Center.
So on your left you have Matthew Barzell, in the middle you have head coach Steve Konowalchuk, and on your right you have Keegan Colasar. Steve, start with you. Another dramatic end to this one. Just your thoughts on the game.
It was a pretty good game again, both ways. I think we had some chances and we're up 2-1. I mean, we had some, 2, 3, 4 point blank chances that I thought we could have went up 3-1. We didn't capitalize, and I think missed nets. If I look back at today, it was a lot of key missed nets for us. That one, we don't give ourselves a chance to score on that shot, and then we can't create second chances from that. I know Enzer hit a crossbar. Matty had a nice move. I think it went over. I don't know if he got a piece of it or went over. I know that Groppy, short side, ends up missing the net on that one. I think Leth had a breakaway, didn't make a save on her, but there were some chances to go up 3-1, and we didn't, and that's the frustrating part, and came up a little bit short again.
And Matt, what are some of the things that you guys need to do to capitalize on those chances there tomorrow night?
I mean, just got to bear down. We've had those chances even in the last two games. I had a breakaway today. I think if I score that, we go up 3-1 into the third period. It's a whole different game, right? I mean, Lether hits the crossbar there. It's just tough, kind of, not scoring those goals right now. But there's hopefully, next game they come.
Keegan, what is the message to the group now heading into Game 4 tomorrow night?
It's a must-win for us. We got to be a very desperate hockey club, and we're fighting for our lives here the rest of the way. And the more pressure we put on them, the better for us. I just got to give it our all here, and don't leave anything behind.
And tomorrow night's obviously a must-win. Coming into tonight, Steve, did you guys feel like this game was a must-win as well?
Well, an important win. I mean, we felt that it's an important win. You never wanted to go down 3-0. Tomorrow's the must-win. You have to win 4 to close out a series, and teams have coming back more so nowadays than in the past from 3-0 deficits. So, now it's a must-win.
And it seemed like your special teams were probably where you wanted them to be tonight. They performed well. Can you talk a little bit about 5-on-5, how you thought you guys did?
Well, again, we generated chances. I mean, some real good chances. Maybe at times we'd like to grind them out a little bit more on their end, but we had some point blank chances, and if they go in, we're not talking the same story. But 5-on-5, we haven't scored near as much as we'd like, but we are getting some chances.
And Matt, you guys talked about coming out tomorrow. You guys have been a resilient group pretty much all year. You've had some down parts in the year and fought through that. Is that experience what you got to lean on now going in tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, it's just going to be desperation hockey, I think. We got nothing to lose now. I mean, your season's on the line, so everyone's going to be going, and you never know what could happen.
And Steve, puck management was an issue earlier in the series, and there were times tonight it looked like that might not have been up to where you wanted to be. What did you think of the puck management tonight?
Overall, it wasn't terrible. At times it was pretty good. It gets a little bit harder when both teams are playing at a high pace. They pressure you, and they apply some pressure where you can't always, get the lines and do what you want to do. There's still a few times when we want to have better decisions, but I didn't think it was a huge problem.
And Keegan, you guys have a lot of talented players. I got to believe you still believe that you can come back and do something here.
Yeah, there's no doubt in our locker room at all. we faced adversity throughout the regular season, losing key players in our lineup, and we still found ways to win. So there's no doubt in our locker room that we're going to come back into this.
Steve, it just might be the closest WHL final in recent memory anyway. Is it tough to not get perhaps frustrated or demoralized? Is there a message here? Because you're literally right there.
When you lose overtime games, it's frustrating. I mean, that you're in overtime because it's a close game. And, we've lost 3 overtime games, so it is easy to get frustrated. But, we've got to make sure that we get that out of our minds right away. I mean, that's wasted energy, wasted emotion. We've got to make sure that we come to the rink tomorrow. It's
Steve Konowalchuk, the head coach of the Seattle Thunderbirds, talking about the frustration of 3 overtime losses. 3 gentlemen that I'm sure are tired of having that conversation.
The last thing they want to be doing right now is talking about that, but you can sure feel them, and they've lost their confidence. But there's one thing you don't have to doubt: they'll get it back for a big game tomorrow night.
Well, the Brandon Wheat Kings did it again. Another come-from-behind victory in this WHL Championship Series, down for the 3rd consecutive game, 2-1 in the 3rd, but they again prevail 3-2 in overtime. So, Game 3 comes to a wrap, and now the Brandon Wheat Kings 1 win away from a trip to the MasterCard Memorial Cup with a 3-0 series lead. You know, it's 9 consecutive times that Brandon has had a 2-0 series lead that they've won that series. They'll try to make it 10 in a row tomorrow night after a 3-2 overtime decision. The score has been the same throughout this championship series. We'll see if Seattle can finally get on the board tomorrow, starting at 7 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Central. Game 4, a chance for the Wheat Kings to win their first WHL championship since 1996. For Peter Labardius, Bill Wilms, Stu Walters, Kevin Sawyer, and the rest of the crew, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We'll talk again tomorrow night from the Evergreen State of Washington.